All right. Hey, everyone. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan. Trusted member of the media. Welcome. Beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Beautiful Saturday morning or afternoon. It's morning to me. I'm telling you, I'd stay up later and later. I stayed up till 4 a.m. last night. And I guess rolled out of bed at noon, came downstairs. Andrea's out there pulling weeds outside, pulling weeds. We got to pull those weeds, throw them out. And Ava's floating around in the pool. So I kind of dipped my toes in. And then, thought about a couple of things, thought about Comicsgate, decided I was going to come in here and do another stream. Got to do a stream because what we do here is promote other people's books. Yesterday, I had a big live stream here on StreamYard, and I'm so excited about it because, basically, I look at what people have achieved up until that point. We have them on the show. We show you guys their projects, and then I kind of mark down exactly where everybody was. And the next morning, I look, and everybody's doing so much better. It really does make me happy to see. Shinobi Sasquatch at $42,513. Englewood, I'm watching this one closely. I really want Mike Curtis to succeed. He's very close to his $7,000 flexible goal. He's got 18 days left. I hope he can get there. What's he need? $373. College of the Dead is another great one. I love Adam Post. He calls himself Half Speed Tucci, and he kind of sounds like Half Speed Tucci. He kind of sounds like Billy Tucci, kind of slowed down a little bit. Same inflections, same enthusiasm, just brought down a notch. And over here, we've got Super Harem, which is Matt Wenger has to be one of my new favorite people. I got to get Matt Wenger on the show every single day. I don't know what it is. My one criticism about Adam Wenger's campaign is that this image here should kind of be on the front. And if this isn't a cover, I don't know why. I don't know why this wouldn't be the front cover of this book. This book would sell a lot of copies if this were the cover. So we got that. And then, of course, my new project, Ethan Van Sciver's Vampirella #1 red foil variant cover, which I just launched last night. It's, somebody told me, like, you always need to have a campaign going. You should always have a new campaign running. It's important that you do that. Offer people some product to buy. Whenever possible. And I try to do that with t-shirts and everything. I mean, we've got the new Soy Boy t-shirt over at Crypto Fashion. But no, comic books are important. So just put a new cover on the incredibly huge hit Vampirella #1 over at Dynamite. Vampirella #1 is doing way better than expected. I think it's sold like upwards of 130,000 copies. I believe it will break into the top 10 for July's Comic-Con numbers. And that's, I don't know, that makes me happy. I love seeing that. Normally the top 10 is entirely made up of Marvel and DC books. So when you see like, Marvel and DC, or when you see the top 10, it'll be Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, DC. But I think in July, you're actually going to see a smaller company break in there and do something. So it's going to be pretty neat. Liquor Jim says, Uncle Ethan, when are you going to do a stream to promote Starblades? I'd like to back that campaign during that stream. Yeah, I would love to do a stream about Starblades. Kyle Ritter in here. How do we do that? Let me see. I'll invite Kyle in. I think that's a fine idea. By the way, I tried to play my theme song to open up the show, and it wouldn't work. Like, I don't know why. Well, let me try again. Why won't this play? It's loud enough. How weird is this? I have like zero audio. If I run it through my headphones, it'll work though, I'll bet. Hold on one second here. Yeah, there it is. Bastards. StreamYard is different than Google Hangouts. I used to be able to play audio, in the background, and it would kind of on the computer and it would pick up. But, this is just a million mysteries at once. Dr. Coffinell says, it doesn't like you, Ethan. Well, Gilzu says Clinton body count. F&A, we got to talk about this, I guess. This is all the news right now. Jeffrey Epstein was just found, I guess, necked he necked himself in his prison cell while he was on suicide watch. Nobody believes this. Nobody believes that this is a real thing. You know, nobody believes that, you know, somebody who is so important, you know, Jeffrey Epstein had, of course, he's a billionaire, and he had his own island where allegedly he would take very powerful people to have sex with underage children. So, and again, all of this, a lot of evidence is about to come out. When I say allegedly, I'm like, well, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure for sure. But it seems like that is indeed probably the case. There are rumors that, well, Bill Clinton's been on his airplane many times. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound good, considering we know Bill Clinton has a high libido and strange proclivities when it comes to sex. It doesn't sound good to me. It sounds pretty bad. And the fact is, he tried to kill himself last week. They found like neck wounds or something like that. He had bruises on his neck. He tried to hang himself. What is he hanging himself with? What is in his cell that he can hang himself with? I don't understand that. That really, really bothers me. What's disturbing about this? He finally pulled it off. He apparently pulled it off. He finally did manage to kill himself today, or last night, maybe. And the question is, how did he do it? And who is responsible for letting that happen? This man should have been brought to justice, obviously. He should have been... I'll share this whole thing here. This is one of those things where you might want to just scroll through Twitter and just to get the news out about this. But yeah, this is something. I mean, we normally don't talk politics here. I don't know if this is politics or what this is. I think this is just world news. But Jeffrey Epstein, they're calling it murder now, because that's what it appears to be. You've got a man on suicide watch who is very important, who's got an enormous book of a clientele of people who he flies to the special little island, I think in the Philippines, and special little island where allegedly you can, I don't know, they have a lot of children. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what the allegation is here, but that he can procure children for pedophiles. And this guy was a multi-billionaire. They finally arrested him. He's in prison. He's awaiting trial, and he attempts to murder. He attempts to kill himself. And we knew about that. We knew they released that information last week, and then this week he actually does it. Look at Jeffrey Epstein on suicide watch after he's found with neck injuries in jail. How did they let this happen? How did they let this guy kill himself? So it doesn't seem like suicide. It seems like this is the meme of the day. Epstein was murdered. Everyone and everyone else. This is a bipartisan, belief. It doesn't make sense in any other way. It doesn't make sense. How could you be this incompetent? How could if this was suicide? How could these people be so incompetent to let this happen? He should have been watched. What, did the camera go out? I mean, how did they not see him do this? Look at this. Please stop calling 14-year-old girls young ladies. They are children. Not technically children. No, they are children, ma'am. 14-year-olds. If you're a father, if you're a parent, you have a 14-year-old daughter. That's a little girl. That's a child. We're gonna see a lot of distractions. Yeah. Look at this. Here's what the camera in the Epstein cell look like. Oh, this is disturbing. Look at this guy. And CNBC, you shills. Attorney General Barr appalled by Epstein's suicide. Epstein's suicide, says Inspector General and FBI are investigating. Attorney General Bill Barr said Saturday that he is appalled by Jeffrey Epstein's death and has consulted with the Inspector General after an investigation after Epstein hanged himself and was found in his jail cell early on Saturday. I was appalled to learn that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead early this morning from an apparent suicide while in federal custody. What the fuck? Excuse my language. How does this happen? Absolutely crazy. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, I've consulted with the Inspector General, who is opening an investigation into the circumstances of Mr. Epstein's death. Attorney General Bill Barr said Saturday he is appalled, has consulted with the Inspector General after Epstein hanged himself. So he hanged himself and was found in his jail cell early on Saturday. How did he hang himself? With what? I want details. What did he have that he was able to do that? You know. Nuclear Sandwich says stuff just got real. Joseph Ippolito says he was a filthy pervert. Of course he was. DKE 721 says Epstein murdered by Vince Foster's ghost. I mean, there's a lot of weirdness about the Clintons with this. Of course, you know, if you're on the left, you're going to counter this by saying, hey, he knew Trump too. I don't know. You know, bed sheets. Yeah, bed sheets, pants, socks. Oh, man. Why would they give him bed sheets? I wouldn't give him anything. I'd have him sleeping on the floor, like in his underpants. I don't, you have to know this is going to happen. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, all right, who cares about this? There is nothing at this point to suggest foul play. Yeah, I mean, can we see the video? Is there must have been a video. I don't want to see the video, honestly, but is there a video that other people could see? Because that would put this to rest right away, I think. Immediate and comprehensive Department of Justice Inspector General investigation to determine who is responsible. All right. Yes, indeed. Micah D2, Epstein burn in hell for eternity. No rest in peace for him. Absolutely. A scumbag. But I mean, the thing about it is that this guy is a big fish. He's got a lot of pedophiles in his net. You know, this is a guy who could testify. This is a guy who could bring a lot of, this guy could make a big dent in the amount of child abuse that goes on in the world. Because he's a perpetrator of it. He is somebody who actually probably made a living from it to some extent. This is a guy with so much power, so much wealth. I don't understand. Matt Horkin says Trump was a Democrat when he knew him. That doesn't make a difference. That doesn't make a difference at all. Welcome, Doker D. Doker D is a new member. Thanks for joining the channel. Dr. Coffindale says, loved your recent anti-mummy rant. Top notch. Thank you for enjoying that. Eskimo Phono says, Eskimo No Phono says, apparently camera malfunction. Is that true or is that just a joke? It must be, you know, unless he did it himself, unless he found the camera and somehow monkeyed with it in his cell. I don't get it. All right, so that is sickening and weird. Going into this next election is going to be strange, man. My head hurts just thinking about it. Going into this election, crazy. All kinds of stuff like this is going to happen. Gunnar Renee Ole says camera malfunction is just a rumor, right? I don't know if it is or not. I don't have any information. I'm reading about this. Remember, I woke up at noon. I'm trying to catch up, and the first thing I see is that Epstein did manage to kill himself, and there's no excuse for this. There is zero excuse for this. It has to be murder. You have to know he just tried to kill himself a week ago. You have to have guards. You have to have people watching him all the time. And when those people get tired, switch them out with new people. I can live stream for 18 hours a day. I could have watched Epstein. I could have guarded him. I can stay awake for a long time on my feet, sharp, at attention, make sure that weirdo doesn't neck himself. I could have done that. I don't understand this. When you look at that, when you realize how important he was, the fact that he attempted suicide just recently, and the fact that he was on suicide watch in a federal prison and still managed to kill himself. That sounds like murder to me. That sounds like murder. That sounds like a conspiracy in which, I don't know. It could have just been, I mean, obviously, I think Epstein clearly wanted to kill himself. So, did somebody sneak in and cut his throat? No, I don't think that's the case. But I think somebody was paid off to turn the other way, to turn his head and allow him to actually do the deed. That's what I think. And that is that murder? It's something. Yeah, I think it is murder. I think if you are somebody who bribed, paid off, coerced, security, anyone who was supposed to watch and make sure that Epstein lived, get them to turn the other way so that he could actually kill himself. Epstein had to have been aware of that. Like, he would have been aware of that somebody was doing that. That is murder. It's complicity. I mean, but it's worse than that. It's denying justice to how many children who were probably abused. We'll find all this stuff out. We're gonna learn a horror story. Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. Let's see. Edward Marlis says, also, LOL, your boy Zach and just some guy accidentally embarrassing Mark Waid. Yeah, well, we're gonna go through that together. Eric Charles Ash says, did Ethan get a wide angle lens? His face is looking huge. No, I'm just fat, but actually I think I look good right now. I'm looking at myself in the camera and I'm going, you look good. For a fat guy. I think I look all right. Let's see. Epstein said someone tried to kill him last month. He didn't try to commit suicide. Dennis Peruk says, is that true? Dennis, I didn't read that. That's interesting. Yeah. Ethan is just a thick boy. Thank you. Gus Tyler Bush says, you actually look like you lost weight. Oh, look, Zach is here now. Zach, do you want to come in here and talk about this? Zach is saying, fix this now. I don't know if Zach can come in here. I think he can. I think he made a video about this. Zach, I'll just send you the invite, If you want to come in, you come in. If you want to come in, you just come in. What are you going to do? If not, you don't have to. But yeah, we're going to talk about Mark Waid. We're going to talk about Rob Liefeld, the usuals. I mean, at this point, the usual suspects. Yeah. Every day is a living hell. Oh, yeah. Zach, we'll talk about this other thing. I looked at my messages from you. We can talk about that too. Let me steal this here. Copy image, open in a new tab. Yeah, that's the kind of thing, this thing that you want me to talk about is the kind of thing that I would only want to talk about with you being in here. It seems weird for me to talk about that by myself. That's my opinion. Yeah, people get excited when Zach thinks about coming on. Cecil is love. Cecil could come in too. Hold on, I'm gonna send Cecil the link before I start screen sharing again. Cecil's going off today. Yeah. All right, there we go. Come on in. Live stream. Sorry about this. I know that like you know what, I think even when I'm talking about inviting people into my stream, it's interesting. I could be wrong about that, but I think I play that off well. I think I make that fascinating when I talk to you about who is coming in and why they're coming in. I think that's interesting. We got a lot of super chats to read here, so I'm going to get to those, and we will press forward with this Mark Waid stuff. We might be talking about Tim Doyle. We might be doing that. We'll see. We'll see how Zach feels. All right. Going through these, Zach Bradley is a new member of the channel. Thank you very much. Let's see. People like my anti-mummy rant. Yeah, I'm seriously thinking about turning a good portion of this channel into me just complaining about weird news, because I love weird news. I love it. I love. I don't like gossip as much as I like weird stories from around the world, and I might kind of add a little bit of that content. Eskimo Phono says, rumor as of now. People Circus says, let go as FBI informer, got him back, and then unlifed him. I like the word unlifed. That's a nicer word than murdered. Unlifed. Whacked them out. Micah D2 says they already have everything. Lots of blackmail videos taken from his estates and other places of a lot of government officials. Testimony from victims exonerates Trump. Okay, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to find out about that. Eskimo Phono, Eskimono Phono, I think that's how to pronounce his name, says hoping they faked his death to get him to trial. That's pretty heavy. That sounds like something from TV. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Micah D2 says victims will go ahead with lawsuit against his estate. That's good. They're going to get justice, but will we get the information that we deserve? I want to know. I wish we could actually get him on the stands. I guess we can't get him on the stands. He would, he wouldn't have taken the stand even if he did make it to trial. Ashley Michael Eck says an important note after Epstein's death: no one else will have standing to challenge the search warrant on his house. That's great news. Christopher says Rise of Skywalker hits 1 billion or flop. Well, I think if it hits 1 billion, it is a flop, relatively speaking. I don't know. I'm feeling right now like it's gonna flop. I would be honest about about it. I think there's no enthusiasm for Star Wars, and people are starting to realize that Disney has hopelessly mangled the Star Wars saga. I think their last hope is the Favreau show, The Mandalorian, and that actually looks good. But if The Mandalorian is no good, I mean, that Star Wars is just completely dead. J&H Comics says, hey, EVS, please check out the Queen's 5/8 digital issues free. Okay, it's called the Queen's 5, and so you get 8 digital issues for free. Ashley Michaelek says everything will be admissible against any other defendant without possibility of a motion to suppress. Owly says, number 1, taken off suicide watch. Number 2, guards were told to leave because of scheduled maintenance. Number 3, camera malfunction, not suspicious at all. All of those things together, huh? That is, yeah. If it's not murder, I have to think about this. It's not murder, but it is, like nobody else did it. He did it, but a lot of people conspired to allow him to do it, which I think is murder. I think it is. Hardboiled Entertainment says, Vince Foster, once again, you know it, I know it. Matt Horkin says, how much super chat to do the truffle shuffle, EBS? I don't know how to do the truffle shuffle. I'm not a good dancer, really. I'm an okay dancer. I'm no Matt Jarbo, but, Larry Romano says NBC is reporting Epstein was taken off suicide watch on July 29th. Why? Dallas Deadeye says Epstein had too many aces up his sleeve to even believe he would see considerable time in prison. Gunsdown Inhale says 1 year later, Matt Jarbo has learned nothing. LOL. I guess it's been like 1 year since the Boulder incident. That doesn't seem. Wow, that year went by quick. Frosty Biggins says, are you like me who thinks Batman Forever is a good Batman movie? Bit of a random question, just lightening up the mood. It's not a good movie, but I still like it. You know, I like it. I don't like, I like Val Kilmer in it. You know, Val Kilmer was a good Batman. Eskimo No Phono says Epstein saw Tim Doyle in a bikini and ended it. Now, that's likely. That makes sense to me. And Amateur Ann says Epstein was already on suicide watch. I think the other elites killed him like the Clintons in case he talked. That's what some people think. You know, people suspect that is that's what happened. You know, I don't know. Okay, so good news. Bleeding Cool has taken a liking to Rob Liefeld. And by a liking, I mean it in the Sipowicz of, you know, NYPD Blue fame. They like him. They are picking on him big time. And I don't really know why. I'm you know, in a way, it's like, I'm glad it's Rob and nobody else. Rob's used to this. Rob's used to this kind of abuse. And he deserves it anyway. But let's have a look at this. Today, Rob Liefeld to finally debut Brigade at New York City, New York Comic-Con in 2019. Promises backers will get theirs first. This is a weird story. Like, I don't really understand this. Here's the thing. Rob Liefeld, about 5 years ago, opened up a Kickstarter campaign for Brigade. Now, the reason why most people open up crowdfunding campaigns, to be frank, is because they can't afford to do it. Like, I couldn't afford to do Cyberfrog. I couldn't afford to do that without crowdfunding it. So most people do that because they need the money to do it. Rob Liefeld did it, and he only managed to raise about something like $30,000, which for Rob, I don't know. I don't think that was that great. I think he should have done better than that. I don't know why he didn't. Then he opened up an Indiegogo campaign just last year and raised an additional $5,000. The book is nowhere in sight. And the thing about it is that Rob is somebody who has produced so many comics. It shouldn't be hard for him to either produce this himself or get someone else to do it. But for some reason, the book has not yet materialized, and it's been 5 years. So it is weird. All right, so let's look at this. Wow, this is odd. I had to stare at this drawing for a while. It's like a statue, you know? It's like these people are in motion, I guess, but they're not really, they're not in motion. You know, this is a still life. Everything about this image just screeches to a halt. You know, it's like just the blockiness of the background. You know, this line here. We are just standing, looking straight on at it. You know, it's flat. It's perpendicular and parallel to the borders of the panel. They're just he's got his knee on the ground, and it just, guys, when you're producing an image with and you've got people in motion, I mean, see if you can work the background elements in such a way as to help push that movement. Like if this guy's coming at this guy and this guy is coming at this guy and they're kind of colliding, there are any number of ways to use background elements, especially to not just speed lines, but just the things that are going on in the background to actually emphasize that movement. This just slows them down and makes them into a statue. It's interesting. NYCC exclusive Brigade Extreme Forces #1. The premiere event arrives exclusively available to $39.99. Okay. At New York City Comic-Con, debuting October 3rd, 2019. The long-awaited, much-anticipated Brigade, packed with so many secrets it remains under lock and key, away from prying eyes. Produced by the team that gave you Major X and Deadpool. Written and drawn by Rob Liefeld. Colors by Ram Fajardo. Your only opportunity to experience this exclusive event comic is through this New York City Comic-Con exclusive, signed by prolific creator Rob Liefeld. You must pick this up in person at the event. Backer copies will have been sent out prior to this. The general public can obtain Brigade only through this offer, available on site at this event. So he's going to go, what he's saying is he's going to finish this comic He's going to ship it out. He's going to fulfill it before New York City Comic Con, which is October 3rd. And then he's going to have extra copies for sale. So the people who waited 5 years for it are going to get it maybe a little bit before, the people who can actually just walk up to the table and buy it. Okay. Backer copies will be sent out before October. What backer copies would those be? And how long have those people been waiting? Who wrote this? Jude Terror? Oh, no, Rich Johnson. Oh, shit. Rich Johnson's going in on him. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. And how long have people been waiting? Well, May 2013. Remember May 2013? God, Barack Obama had just recently been sworn into his second term in office. Right? Saw Rob Liefeld launch a Kickstarter fundraiser for the return of his Brigade comic book, scheduled for October of 2013. And they were going to be issued free. Brigade and its creator, Rob Liefeld, are returning to comics. And we want everyone to get a free copy of the reimagined Brigade. Brigade launched, excuse me, hold on one second. I should probably mute when I'm clearing my throat, but it's too much work. And one of the most popular books at Image Comics. The book featured a colorful cast of characters: Battlestone, Cold Snap, Lethal, Seahawk, Thermal, Stasis, and Roman. All these kind of G.I. Joe style code names, united against the forces of evil. Hold on one second real quick here. Okay, we're still good. All right. The cast and concept of Brigade have been radically updated and reimagined, and I'd like everyone to get a copy for free. I can only do this with your support and commitments on Kickstarter. By funding this free initiative, you're helping provide free. Look, how many times does it say free in here in all capital? A free comic breaks through all barriers and crosses all ages. A free comic provides a risk-free imagination that can create a doorway into a new world of imagination and wonder. Brigade, with its fresh, bold direction and characters, will provide a dynamic comic book experience for readers old and new. 100% of the funding is going to printing the comic and the hardcover. My personal goal is to produce at least 100,000 copies of Brigade #1, or 50,000 copies, 50,000 each of issues 1 and 2. That is the purpose of this Kickstarter. I draw every day, whether garbage tier, I'm paid or not. It's what I do. But printing comics and giving them away for free must be budgeted and accounted for. And as the money came in, saying thank you to everyone who has supported and pledged to get us funded. What does this mean? It means I can provide 50,000 free Brigade copies to fans and retailers. I would like to increase that number and expand the amount of free Brigade comic books. With that in mind, I've created fun, creative stretch goals, incentives to reach the next stage. So $10 got you an exclusive sketch cover of the first issue of Brigade featuring the line art from creator Rob Liefeld. 15 got it signed and numbered. These are cheap tiers. Pledges went up, including a $3,500 pledge for an exclusive comic store variant cover chosen by 2 backers. And his update showed progress. In September, he posted, I failed to mention that when Brigade goes to press between October and November, that a digital file will go out to each and every backer so they can enjoy the work in digital form. That way you can enjoy the story and variants prior to receiving the physical copy. I've been purchasing early digital releases of popular summer films, Star Trek Into Darkness and World War Z. Holy shit, this was a long time ago. Which are available many weeks before the physical DVD launch. You will receive your digital Brigade for free. He said this while World War Z was wow. That was then. And the scheduled delivery of October 2013 came and went. By November, however, it was only a few weeks away. The book is coming together fast, and surveys will be going out around Thanksgiving. I have been showcasing various colored pages from the book on my social media accounts such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The book is coming together better than expected despite running a few weeks behind. December 2013, he was looking ahead to 2014. I'm looking at 2 shows in the first quarter of 2014 to release Brigade. One is right around the corner, and I'm hoping to make the early date with a limited first edition that will fulfill all backers before going into wide release. I'll keep you posted. January 2014, it was down to the colorists and creating too many pages. Brigade is nearing completion. I produced too many pages to the first issue and subsequently kicked some of them to the second issue. Thank you for your patience. I'm trying to make this special and use Brigade in order to completely reset my universe of characters. Colors have been the biggest hurdle as I've tried a number of different colorists in this book. After my first choice retired a few pages in. I'll post new art this week, and we should be going to press in 4 to 5 weeks. Digital will be available at that time in order to hold you over until your print copy arrives. February 2014, a number of publishers have approached me in the new year inquiring about implementing Brigade into their publishing plans. I'm considering a number of them as potential homes, partnerships for these books, which would begin with Brigade. This will be decided in the next few weeks. I'll let you know as it develops. The Kickstarter funds would be applied to making Brigade #1 available for free. Why free? I don't understand this. With whatever publisher I partner with, they would transfer into a larger publishing plan if that course is decided. Let's see. Nathan Norman says Rob would be late to his own funeral. Cerulean Aurelium says, hi, Uncle Lee. Hello. Hit the like. Margaret Merkel says, hit that like. Please do hit the like button in here. I'd appreciate it. That's one thing that you could do. He should have gotten Kyle to do it. No, Kyle's busy with me. Kyle's got his own book. He's going to be working with me. I got to have Kyle for Rainbow Brute. All right. Let me double check here. Is Zach? No, Zach is not here. All right. Zach probably can't make it. That's the way it goes. All right. So this will be decided in the next few weeks. March 2014, as I've stated before, my original colorist fell out after completing half the issue. He was one of, if not my favorite colorist that I worked with, and then he quit the business for special FX work, video game rendering. I sent out samples to many other colors, but they could not match the palettes. None of the subsequent pages matched the work I had done. A few months back, a new colorist emerged, and as you will see, he is one of a kind, and the recoloring process has been amazing. They are my best work. They're the best my work has looked. He has fit the work in between his other assignments, making Brigade #1 look spectacular. Now we're into May. Brigade will be released either during, this is May 2014, Las Vegas Con. Are we going to go through all of this? September, October, every month. Happy December 1st. I wanted to let you know that a fantastic publisher has signed on to publish Brigade. Why wouldn't Rob publish Brigade? I don't understand this. The first 2 issues will be released in the same month. The launch issue will be free. All right, January 2015. This post isn't to tell you how great Brigade looks or how well it reads. The post is to let you know the book is now part of a publishing plan. I've compiled pages for the first few issues in addition to preparing and drawing a companion book that connects with Brigade, realizing that everything I set out with, your support has exceeded what I set out to accomplish. March 2015, April 2015. Brigade will be out this summer. August 2015, after being hacked. Brigade is in good shape. It is set to follow the release of Bloodstrike #3, but available only to you backers for 4 months. Bloodstrike and Brigade are connected, but only one of them is a free comic via Kickstarter. Big multi-million-dollar firms, movie dates. This is exhausting. October 2015. The book will ship out early November. So I've done pretty much everything wrong. All right. February 2016. Brigade is as close to completion as it has been. Matt Nastos and I went over the last of the pages this past weekend, but because I failed to deliver this in a timely fashion, I want to offer a refund of your pledge if that's what you desire. April 2016, after another hack. Who's hacking Rob Liefeld? Is it one of you guys? Let's see. Justin Brown says, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Butts Brown says, at least he's thorough. Let's see. Josh Long says, what's up, EVS? How you doing, Josh? It's good to see you. Dr. Meatball says, Mark Waid is pissed Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a chance to roll on everyone, just like the rest of us. Yeah, I kind of agree. All right, and we just keep going. Change the issue to ending of issue 1 to include some familiar characters. In the meantime, issue 2 is looking good. Rob used to pump out books. I really don't understand this. I mean, he was a publisher, and he published a ton of comics. Meeting with the new popular publisher this week. Necessary changes. Variant covers are part of the package, and current publisher does not and will not allow for multiple variants. Jesus. December 2016 screwed up royally. Handled this poorly, and refunds are available as always. The book will ship following the announcements and will now carry a 25th anniversary banner, which I feel is appropriate as there are so many exciting Extreme Image 25th anniversary projects coming your way in 2017. And I'll be doubling your comic order, and your reward selection is a thank you for your patience and continued support. Now we're in March 2017. Every Brigade backer is receiving a free copy signed by myself. 28 new pages of amazing art and history. Thank you for your support. 2017, I added 2 pages, an informative spread to Brigade, which are being colored. And then after my upcoming Vegas convention, it will be going up to the printers. I'm hoping to have copies in 3 to 4 weeks. It's October 2017. All right, let's go into December. Was sent these pics from the printer. Brigade chromium cover. Oh, he's got a chromium cover now. Pics speak for themselves. Guts follow them fulfillment. March 2018, been dealing with a severe hack. This is the third time he's been hacked. Affected all my business, running to catch up. Yes, even with two-step authentication, it's been a crazy world out there. It seems like I'm a frequent target. Book looks great, has tremendous meaning now. Brigade launch party is in May of 2018. I have a date firming up and getting together. October 2018, after all the wait, my final hurdle is waiting approval for a corporate logo from a media partner. The next round of refunds will go out shortly. January 2019, the comic will be published by the time the convention season launches. I look forward to experiencing it with you, the long-standing backer. I'm creating an original I Survived the Brigade Kickstarter limited print as well. It will only be for the Kickstarter experience. April of 2019, so I needed an extra beat to get a super special guest star to put into Brigade. A light bulb went off as to how to create an even more. Whew, God. J Pot says Rob has chronic cough, is hacking. Yeah, I think that's what it is, or he thinks it is. Epstein got hacked. Morningstar says what a nightmare. Force Ghost of Zax 138 says yeah, Mark Waid humped a Russian bot. Margaret Merkel said his lawyer wrote these. Awaiting approval for a lot of things. June 2019, delayed cover uploading shortly. Book on track to become the single biggest and most important of my career, period. I have looked over the digital files going to press. As I upload these to the printer, I honestly think that the comic book marketplace is going to freak out over this comic when it arrives late summer. With a $40 variant for the New York Comic Con, might that be the opportunity for Rob to give out those 50,000 copies of Brigade #1 for free? That was the original goal, was to create a comic book for free, which I don't understand. I don't get that. Or might the timeline have to stretch further? This does seem to be a more concrete date than Rob Liefeld has been able to give before. Cross fingers. Very exciting. Did any of you back this? Did any of you back Brigade? I think a lot of people in Comicsgate kind of did, and they were, upset about it. I don't know. Wow, people are pissed off about Epstein still. Brian M says Cecil is probably on a boat. Yeah. No. People didn't back it. It doesn't seem like it. It's like I heard people saying, I backed Rob Liefeld's Brigade last year, but nobody will admit to that now. Man of Action says, I did it. I'm the hacksaw. Oh, that's good. All right. So let's see. I wanted to talk about Mark Waid here and figure this out with you guys. Mark Waid apparently is kind of back on social media. And I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing. I thought he kind of went away for a little while. But you know what? Your boy Zach kind of went away and was, more quiet, I think, for a little while. And he's kind of finding his, he's kind of getting his, I don't know, he's feeling his oats again. I dig it. He's making great videos. He's going right at his, right at the subject hard. He's I don't know, his videos have gotten better. And I guess Mark Waid, that means Mark Waid, in the midst of this trial between the two of them, is also going to start acting like Mark Waid again. Wade's got a Wade, says Margaret Miracle. I think that's right. So we've got, I don't know what this is yet. So we're going to discover this together. I'm not even sure the context of this, but we are going to figure it out, you and I. Cecil is a deep state hitman, says Last Crusader. Wouldn't that be interesting? Jabba the Cuck says, I don't believe the flat Ethan theory. Well, you shouldn't believe the flat Ethan theory. I am three-dimensional. Cecil went to gather evidence at Epstein Island. Cecil's a hero. Everything Cecil does is heroic. Old one, school one gamer says Cyberfrog is a far superior comic anyway. Yes, it is. Cyberfrog is great. Mark Waid says this was August 8th. And again, I haven't even looked over this yet, so I don't know what this is. But we gotta check out Mark. Hey, do me a favor and circulate. Some sick, borderline white supremacist nuts are circulating fake artwork from a comic I'm writing with Kwanzaa Osijefo. Ignited. It's called Ignited. To use as evidence that we're using our book as a pro-violence propaganda tool. We're proud of Ignited. Hold on.
We're proud of Ignited. It's about newly empowered school shooting victims who are pushing back against gun violence in all its forms and I encourage you to check it out. I guarantee it's different from anything else on the stands. This, however, the fake claim that our protagonists all identify as Antifa extremists is a lame and pathetic death rattle act from what I suspect is the wheezing, fading Comicsgate movement. Ordinarily, I wouldn't give a clownish act any oxygen, but this is re-lettered fake. Oh wait, but this re-lettered fake, defacing some beautiful art by Phil Briones, looks authentic enough to fool folks who haven't actually read the story. It's not fair to try to smear my collaborators on the series, and that's my concern. Thank you for spreading the truth. All right, so this is the fake version. So he's got a book. Your boy Zach has been talking about this one. I haven't read it, but I did watch Zach's review of it, and apparently this book idolizes who's that little dude who survived the school shooting, and he's got a tiny little mouth. He's a tiny little skinny guy. He's got a real tiny mouth that's always like frowning like this. And he's, I don't know, he's kind of Hitlerian. And he gets up and he gives anti-gun speeches. Who is that dude? I can't remember his name. He's like a high school, well, he used to be a high school kid. He's probably David Hogg. So Mark Waid has decided David Hogg is like the superhero of the future. And so he's got a whole super team of David Hoggs. And that's what this comic book is. But basically, these people are awful. These people are SJW superheroes in the sense that they believe that whatever tactics that you employ against people who disagree with you are justified because you're right. That is an SJW frame of mind. SJWs believe that they can do whatever they want to anybody who disagrees with them because those people are outright Nazis. They are what? They are borderline white supremacist nuts. Let me look at this. Let's just look at the original comic says they're farming tribes. It's one thing to push back against authority figures. Are Shy and Callum ready to fight their friends? And then this actually has fake text that says, am I a fascist? I mean, I don't feel like a fascist. I just want to use power to control people. Okay, that's interesting. In what context was this bandied about? I think I understand that this is kind of a meme. And this is a criticism of who did this? Was this just some guy? What do you guys know about this? David Hogg wasn't even at the school when the shooting occurred, says Jamie Max. Skyber versus Wade meme on my Twitter. Enjoy. David Hogg is a douche. I don't like him either. David, NRA Salesman of the Year. Hogg, LMAO, spot on. Let's see. The Am I a Fascist one is actually more interesting. Oh, just some guy did this. Okay, that's what I thought. I'd heard just some guy did a parody of this to kind of point out the weirdness, the disorder, the turmoil, the psychic turmoil in the head of an SJW. It's not as if like an SJW would ever like realize this about themselves, though. As if an SJW would ever kind of be able to examine oneself this thoroughly and say, am I a fascist? I don't feel like a fascist. I just want to use power to control people. That is what SJWs do. That is insightful. That is keen and insightful, which is precisely what Mark Waid kind of wants to do. Mark Waid wants to use his power to control other people all the time. Mark Waid tried to control Antarctic Press. Mark Waid tried to control Diversity in Comics, who just wanted to, your boy Zach just wanted to publish a single comic book. He just wanted to get his comic book out on the stands. How strange. What a strange timeline 2017 was. 2017 had people reacting violently to what I thought was pretty insightful and keen criticism by your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer. One single man with a camera and a budget that he was earning from his videos. Now, Zach didn't have a lot of money, but he would sit there and I remember what was charming about Zach and his videos, where he'd be like, look, I'm starting to make a little bit of money and I'm going to spend that money on comics to review. So he's like, I used to not be able to afford a lot of comics, but look, I'm getting like $1,000 a month or whatever from my YouTube account. I'm going to just roll that money over into buying comics, whatever comics are out there.
even terrible comics, and I'm going to review them and make more money. I thought that was pretty cool. And he came at these reviews with a keen eye. And of course, he dissected the living hell out of Mark Waid, who had become lazy, who had just become very, very lazy indeed. And his work was wheezing. His work was fading. Mark Waid was wheezing and fading. And his work on, new champions, I think, was a lame and pathetic death rattle act from a formerly great comic book writer. A formerly great comic book writer. And your boy Zach actually had the balls to expose him and hold his feet to the fire. And thus, because of this criticism over his work, and not only that, his behavior on social media, this man-child, this very strange man who graduated high school at the age of 14, and we just talked about how 14-year-olds are children. Now, he was a child, and he was put into college. He had to go to college at 14, be around other adults, become a little tattletale narc. This weirdo, Mark Waid, completely lacks any discipline. Mark Waid completely lacks anything that would control his temper. He has these incredible temper tantrums. And that's what this is. I don't think that this right here is the work of a sick, borderline white supremacist. Indeed, just some guy is black. Probably one of the kindest human beings I've ever spoken to. So this is who Mark Waid is. Like, this simple criticism, this simple thing where somebody took his art, replace the word balloons to actually make an insightful, pointed jab to turn his work into a political cartoon, which is what happens. I mean, parody happens. I fully expect it's going to happen to Cyberfrog. This was too much for him. This is anger. This is fury. And I mean, we know what Mark Waid's fury looks like. Mark Waid cannot tolerate. I think he might be autistic. Mark Waid cannot handle. Everything has to be literal. He can't handle something like this. He can't handle that other people understand what a spoof is. He can't handle being teased. He can't handle being harshly criticized. Oh man, these are skills that come with adulthood. These are skills that come from spending your teenage years in high school with other people who are developing those same skills. And sometimes it isn't always pleasant. By the way, this hand is really weird and it's bothering me. This hand is really strange. This head is enormous. This hand is really skinny and flat from the side here, and it's too small. The palm is too small for the fingers and the wrist. Just some guy just put up a video about this. He just said, yeah, I'm a black YouTuber. I am not a borderline white supremacist, you dickhead. I don't know if he said that. I don't know if he used those words exactly, but he may as well. Just some guy, you may as well have used those words. And this is what we got. This is what we got. We've got Mark Waid saying, I will not tolerate being criticized or made fun of in this way. I won't tolerate it. I want you to help. This looks authentic. It's going to fool folks. People are going to think that this is what I wrote. It's not fair to try to smear my collaborators. Mark, this is a comic book, you asshole. Even if this woman was saying, am I a fascist? I mean, I don't feel like a fascist. This is a comic book character. Nobody would think that this was you. The fact that it is you, and the fact that you demonstrate that this is you every single goddamn day of your life, in every move that you make, the way that you utilize social media, the way that you think you have to stand up and fight these fights against people who have nothing to do with you or are slightly critical of you. The way you wanted to beat the ass off of Arthur Sujam for taking up 3 tables instead of the 2 he was allotted at a convention you weren't even fucking at, you asshole. Hold on a second. Let me see if Zach's here. Oh, Zach is here. Okay, come on.
That's good.
Hey,
Zach, you here?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the headphones in so you won't hear the. I almost got in on the old method and then I remember the whole thing with the headphones.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, you sound good.
So, if anything wins me this case, if it's ever close and then it tips over and I win, it's going to be this. It's going to be this parody, which I found out later was made by just some guy. And then Mark Waid's ridiculous infantile response. It just shows what I've been saying for the last year and change, that he has this phrase, white supremacist, that he uses because he knows it'll have a real world effect. He uses it and then he'll kind of couch it like, say, borderline.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't mean borderline. He means destroy this person's life. So like you said, basically he got ass mad. He got butt hurt. So he's like, what is the proportionate response for me having my feelings hurt? I know. Let's destroy this person's livelihood for the rest of their life. And and people are laughing because, they're like, well, just some guy is just some guy is a black guy from Chicago. Isn't it funny he called him a white supremacist? It's ridiculous to call anyone that you don't 100% know is that, to call them that, because your dumb late middle-aged ass, is going to end up in federal court.
Amen, brother. And yeah, that is the case. I mean, just some guy is probably one of the most moderate, thoughtful, funny, careful, and insightful critics on YouTube. I mean, I love just some guy's videos. So for him to be called, to be abused this way by this sniveling, dirty diapered jackass Mark Waid at this point is pretty disgusting. And those are my words, Zach. Those aren't your words. I want everyone to know. That's how I feel. It's not necessarily how Zach feels.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, you're really only clarifying for mentally ill, malicious people who are going to misconstrue things on purpose. Any normal person listening or, reading a transcript would understand that.
That's right. All right, let me read this one more time, and then I'm just going to show you, Zach, that this is consistent
There's
behavior.
so much in here. There's so much. And hey, like I said, I didn't know it was just some guy. I assumed it was something on Twitter. So then just some guy put a template so you can do your own, which I thought, do you want to hear mine? If I were to do one, I won't, it'd probably be a bad idea for me to type it out. But so it's got three captions right there.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first one, it says, that old woman on 19th Street, the one who bought a gun to feel, quote, safe. That would be the second caption. And the third caption would have this terrorist character of Mark saying, I wonder how safe she felt when I beat her face in.
Oh, see, and people say that you can't write. Of course you can write. Hey, critics, suck a dick. Your boy Zach is awesome. Great line. Great line. By the way, guys, feel free to find this, make that template, and put your own stuff in there, because this is obviously ripe for parody right now. And Mark Waid apparently thinks that parody is white supremacy.
I mean, no, he doesn't think it. He's very cannily and cynically kind of read, what is the thing that can hurt someone the most in current year? This. Mm-hmm. It'll make someone not want to hire you, not want to interview you, not want to do business with you. They won't even want to talk to someone that you talk to. And that's the goal. He has to be, I mean, not to be disrespectful to people who have this, he would have to be mentally retarded to actually believe this was true.
Well, I think going back to Mark Waid's interview on my show, which was a big deal. I'm so glad I did that. Some of my critics say, I shouldn't have done that. I heartily disagree. I think me interviewing Mark Waid and Dan Slott on the early days of this channel was probably the best thing that could have happened, that I could have contributed to your case. And to the legend of Mark Waid's temper and who he is.
The Slott one went pretty good, right? I remember that one going good.
Dan Slott had a great time, yeah. But I mean, again, it's like, inviting these people out to talk to them and just bring them out and see what they have to say. I still like. Here's the difference between Mark Waid and Dan Slott.
Is that a dramatic pause, or did you freeze? I think you froze.
A nice think he's a nice guy who doesn't take criticism well, however, because he's a little bit of a man child, and I don't know. I think he's prone to groupthink a little bit. But Mark Waid is just actively doing this stuff. Dan, hey man, I like you. I don't want you to get caught up in this Comicsgate stuff because it's evil. Bad stuff's going on, and Heather Antos, they're passing around pornographic pictures of her. And I said, they are? By the way, this is the same song and dance I hear every single day. I still hear this. And I demand people like, if you only saw the evidence, show me the evidence. Give me all of the evidence that you're talking about, that you're discussing in your hug boxes. Let me see it. And when I actually pushed Dan Slott and I said, let me see the evidence, and it's hard to say, let me see the evidence of pornographic pictures of Heather Antos being passed around. That's a hard thing to ask for. And it's a hard thing to be given. But I knew that they didn't exist. And Dan Slott eventually did pony up these images. They were just photographs of Heather Antos from her model days, like she modeled for J.C. Penney or something like that. She was wearing a nice modest sweater set and a skirt, and somebody had zoomed in on her chest region and said something like, ooh yeah, and tweeted it out. Her chest region covered up by a sweater, and it was done just once by one guy who I don't even know if I don't know where that guy is anymore. This one thing was being used, Zach, to demonize you in particular as somebody who was part of a campaign to thoroughly abuse this poor innocent young woman to the point where you were sending pornographic pictures around. Of course, it all comes back to you.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and again, I'm going to say if I remember correctly, he was even telling people that I was giving away addresses of women in the industry.
Yeah, I didn't. He was.
That's what I mean. I've literally got, an email folder of 1,000 emails that say Waid lawsuit. But in the very, very, very early days, that was one of the things that I was being told.
Yeah. Okay. There was a lot of stuff that you have to go back. If you just revisit some of the old stuff, you see how crazy all of this is. And hindsight doesn't make any of this look better.
Yeah.
It ends up making us look better.
The thing about Dan Slott is I remember you was like, oh, he's really against you. And I actually had a bunch of issues with him. And you were telling me like, dude, he's weird on the internet, but I hung out with him for a week in Australia. You said he's normal, but dude, Mark Waid is just on some other level where I don't see this going to a jury trial. I mean, can his lawyers just quit? Like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I quit. They just walk right out the courtroom. Like, this guy tells lies. And people sent me screenshots of this whole thing, and they sent me stuff where it was like you go down and you do the responses, and I didn't want to cover that because that's just people's opinion. But it's definitely a thing where he creates an atmosphere. He has a position in the industry as an elder statesman. They had that diamond, that exclusive for retailers convention. He spoke for 2 separate companies at that thing. He spoke for what is this with Ignited Humanoids, and then he spoke for Marvel, I believe. This guy has a voice in the industry, built mainly on his work from the early to mid 1990s. But he never really left, which is, I think, due to his, in my opinion, personality disorders. That's why he was never able to, do a Neil Gaiman and jump ship and go do, write for movies and stuff like that. So he's always kind of been here. He's got this elder statesman. He's got, he knows everyone in the industry, and he'll just decide to destroy someone. And this thing with just some guy, if this ever becomes close, this will put it over the top. Because you show this to any jury of normal people who worked on the railroad, who worked at Sears, the DMV, and they go, oh, so if you ever piss him off for any reason, he'll call you a white supremacist and what does he say? Do me a favor and circulate.
Do me a favor. Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, guys. You want to do a favor for Mark Waid? Circulate this. Call just some guy who I believe is also LGBTQ. He's on that. I could be wrong about that, but I think he did say that one time. He's black. That he is this white supremacist, black perhaps LGBTQ guy, is circulating faked artwork from a comic that he's writing with Kwanzaa Osejefo, and he's, look at this. This is evidence, he says in quotes. How many lies are in this? Can we take
Oh
this
boy.
apart?
I mean, borderline white supremacist, that's a lie. It's actually a double lie, because not only is he not a white supremacist, but there's no such thing as a borderline white supremacist. That's just Mark Waid of extremely average intelligence thinking he's slick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like saying allegedly. Juries and judges still take into your intent. If you say allegedly and you're like rolling your eyes and you're doing air quotes, they know that the intent is to diminish that. And basically, you're really trying to tell people. So we got 2 lies in the first sentence. Faked artwork is ridiculous. The artwork is real. The captions are parodied.
Right.
So, I mean, and then this isn't a lie, but he just throws in Kwanzaa because that's like the proof. My coworker is black.
Yeah,
and
he's black,
he parried it.
So, right.
Therefore, that's white supremacy.
Of course.
No. And then he says, like that it's not true that this is a pro-violence propaganda tool. Now, that the idea that this is trying to get real people in the real world to
No, hold
violence,
on. You missed one. To use as evidence, in quotes. This is not meant to be used as evidence.
Yeah. And then he says later says Antifa extremist. So I had assumed that somebody had made a couple pages and the Antifa extremist was in another one. So here's where it gets even greater. And I have given this to my lawyers. Watch this. He says nuts, plural.
Where is this? Hold on a second.
Do me a favor and circulate some sick borderline white supremacist nuts.
Nuts. So more than one person.
I'm the other person, I believe, because just some guy didn't say anything about Antifa extremists. I talked about Antifa extremists in my video. So he's conflating the two with a little wink wink and no names. But it's a year and change later, and I believe he's still defaming me.
So just in this first paragraph alone, let's just count the lies. Okay, some sick borderline white supremacist. That we'll just call this one lie right here. Okay, because that's just some guy. He's not a white supremacist. He's a bisexual black fellow. Nuts, that means plural. That's lie number 2. Are circulating. I don't know. Well, I guess that could be okay. Faked artwork. That's lie number 3. This is not faked artwork. It is the artwork with parodied dialogue in it from a comic I'm writing with Kwanzaa. That is manipulative language right now because obviously Kwanzaa is black and he's trying to say, look, I'm not a white supremacist. All right, ignited to use as evidence. That's lie number 4. This wasn't made to be used as evidence. This was made to parody and bring clarity to the absurdity of SJWism and the absurdity of Mark Waid's personal beliefs that we are using in our book as a pro-violence propaganda tool. No. That's lie number 5. We don't think that you're doing that intentionally. We think you're doing that accidentally.
That's a good point. We're talking about someone who's so sick and addled with Trump derangement syndrome. Again, opinion, some sort of undiagnosed personality disorder that not less than 6 people who've met him have said he has. Mark and Kwanzaa actually believe this world. They actually believe where the cops like, hey, is that a lollipop? And they just shoot you in the middle of the street. Right. Where it's okay to assault people because they legally sell guns. Where it's okay to in this book, there's students, minors who are peaceably assembling and they end up basically getting shrapnel and they're all bloody. They assault the cops who respond. Like, no normal person could ever look at the script and go, what the, that's fine. Like, people would just say like, no, what are you doing? Like, these are villains. Yeah. They still have not fought one actual criminal.
We're proud of Ignited. We're proud of Ignited. It's about newly empowered school shooting victims. Empowered victims who are pushing back against gun violence in all its forms.
That one's a huge one. So you haven't read it. I have, but so there's, you watch Netflix and a lot of the stuff is lefty and SJW. So if you have a school shooting, there'd probably be a character at a gun shop who sold the school shooter guns with like a wink, wink, or he didn't do the proper process. No. When he says gun violence in all its forms, this is what it's been. The teacher floated an idea to, the principal floated an idea to arm the teachers. Just brought up the idea. He was then basically assaulted with non-lethal means, and the entire faculty was assaulted with non-lethal means.
Wow.
Then
just for the idea.
Yeah, just for floating the idea. Then they showed a blonde-haired white teacher, and they said, and this teacher has never been in the book before or since. They said, if Miss So-and-so had a gun, she would shoot and kill the first black student who mouthed off to her. I mean, like, this is insane.
Jesus.
Then there were some students in the parking lot. They were in support of the teachers being armed. So the heroes, and they call them heroes, they don't call them protagonists, they call them heroes, went out to the parking lot dressed like Antifa, the whole visually coded as Antifa. Then they drove a tank with a turret on it. We find out later the turret was not a real gun. It was just supposed to look like a gun. But they were putting them into terror for believing differently. And then in a kind of a weird plot twist, another terrorist who's going to meet the group made this shrapnel come out of the gun. So they're like, oh, we didn't shoot the gun. We just drew a tank onto school grounds to scare people. And then someone else made projectiles come out of the gun. They then attacked the police, who came to respond justifiably. And then in another scene, a character destroyed some old man had a gun shop, and she went in and destroyed every single gun in his shop and destroyed his livelihood. There's never
wonderful.
They have not, these people got their superpowers during the shooting, but they didn't attack the shooter. Their superpowers just kept them from dying. I think one of them might have grabbed like 2 bystanders and helped them get away. But there's been no actual fighting gun violence. It's just, if guns exist and if you like guns, it is now justifiable. This is the thesis of Mark and Kwanzaa. If you own guns, think people should own guns, sell guns, or just like them, it's okay for you to be assaulted.
Yeah.
It's heroic for you to be assaulted or threatened.
So am I a fascist? I mean, I don't feel like a fascist. I just want to use power to control other people.
And that's exactly what happens in the story. Like 100%.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't give such a clownish act any oxygen, but this 3-lettered fake, defacing some beautiful art by Phil Briones, well, that's all right. Looks authentic enough to fool folks who haven't actually read the story. It's not fair to try to smear my collaborators on a series. This is Mark, by the way. Mark always kind of uses everyone around him as
yeah, I've dealing with him for 1.5 years, and you dealing with him longer. It's not about me. I can take it. You can't take anything. You can't take gentle, joshing, Mark. You're 57 and you still cry and have tantrums. And for the when I filed the lawsuit, it wasn't because he defamed me once. He was doing like a whole summer tour of defaming. He was defaming me on the internet. He was defaming people I had contracts with. He was defaming me in Texas and then forgetting about it. And then he went on that podcast with that, kind of like Charlie Rose of the comic book industry, that guy, Cientris. And then he defamed me there. I was like, this is never going to end.
It's never going to end. It's like, it's not fair to try to smear my collaborators, and that's my concern. And then he goes with this.
Now, his concern is his infinitely fragile ego.
That is correct.
He's using the race of Kwanzaa. He's using, I don't know, Briones, and maybe Hispanic. I don't know. I can take it. No, you can't. You can't take anything, Mark. That's why you're in federal court.
Thanks for spreading the truth.
Oh, okay. Final lie.
That's exactly right.
2 paragraphs of lies filled. Well, I mean, honestly, we're probably at like 9 to 10 lies in there.
Well,
thanks for spreading the truth.
First, it's a manipulation. Thank you for spreading this.
You haven't done it yet.
I want you to circulate this. So spread it. The truth. Nothing but a lie. Just total lie.
And just like last year, when he found out a book by someone he didn't like was going to exist in the world, and he had to be stupid. I don't think they're crimes. They're torts or whatever. I don't think it's accurate to say he committed crimes, but he broke, civil laws, where he just could have just done the right thing. I don't like this. I'm not buying it for X, Y, and Z. I encourage you to do the same. This, he really didn't have anything to say except for someone had an opinion I don't like. And the funny thing is, the only reason you can confuse the fake text, as he so boomerishly put on there, with the real thing is because it's true to the story that he wrote.
Yeah. It's an accurate
He wrote
criticism.
fascists who use power to control people, either directly through assaulting them or by threatening to assault them, which they do with gusto in every single. Oh, I forgot. There was a radio host who said something they didn't like, so they blew up his house. Like his whole house.
Story? They blew up his house. What did the radio host say?
He was being like an Alex Jones type. He was like crisis actors, and in the story, it looks like it's a real school shooting. It's not some kind of weird, because it's a comic book. It could be crisis actors in a comic book universe. But he's like some Alex Jones type, and they're like, "We don't like what you said," and then they're standing in his house. It's like, and you're gonna find out when you get home. And they blew his whole house up for saying something they didn't like. The funny thing is, there's a legal recourse. They could actually, like, Alex Jones is in court for saying crisis actors, because people are saying, oh, I'm not sure what exact charge he's getting besides maybe fraud or something. But he's in a major federal lawsuit right now. There seems to be a commonality of late middle-aged man babies shooting their mouth off and ending up in federal court. Actually, I think Alex Jones is my age, but he looks like shit. Oh my God. He looks like he's like mid-60s.
Well, look, this is the thing. I mean, Mark Waid has an extreme temper, fragile. And if you think here's the thing that, you might ask yourself, you might go, is Mark Waid pretending to have hurt feelings or to be outraged by this?
That is a theory.
That is a theory, but that theory just falls apart when you look at this email to me right after the interview I did with him. I did an interview with Mark Waid in 2017, November 27, 2017. And it was wonderful. I mean, I had Mark Waid on. I asked him all of these pertinent questions. I allowed him to speak for a long time, tell his own story, tell his own story.
I'm sorry. I got to interrupt. I'm sorry. I know I have a problem with, we talked about it before. He is talking to you the way a staff NCO would have spoken to me when I was a private or a lance corporal.
Yeah.
It's orders, and he's yelling.
Yeah.
You go here, you do this, you do it right now. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, he's, look at this. First of all, so anyway, let me just explain real quick and tell this story. So the problem was that in the chat, you guys are in the chat right here. My channel was much smaller. I had 9,000 subscribers, but because I had Mark Waid on and it was a big interview that I'd promoted, I used to promote these live streams. Remember, Zach? I would make little ads and everything and circulate them to build up hype. Every time you and I got together, I would do that.
I remember 2017 being a very rough year for you. It was a lot of like, draw Tippy the Turtle. I'm going to show you how to get into the famous Artist Academy.
Yes, my early YouTube stuff. And people still say, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that anymore? But in any case, 1,500
views. That's why.
That's why nobody watches it. But I had Mark Waid on, and people did watch it. 800 people came or so. They were in the audience to watch this show. Now, as you guys know, there's one person. There'll always be a few people, percentage of the viewing public, that are just here to troll. Sometimes they're anonymous degenerates. Sometimes it's big fat Scott Kurtz. I mean, there's always somebody in the live stream audience who was there just to listen and troll and be a pain in the ass. There was somebody on this day who came in and said, he had like a fake Mark Waid thing, and he would kind of make fun of what Mark Waid was saying. So Mark didn't know about this. Indeed, I didn't know about it. I was focused on the interview. But the next day, somebody on Twitter showed Mark Waid screenshots of this parody account that was making fun of him while he was doing the interview. And Mark Waid blew his stack. I don't know if Mark Waid was looking for an excuse to be angry. I suspect that that's part of it. But the other thing is, Mark Waid does not handle being mocked very well. He just doesn't handle it. So I was taking a nap. Look at this. It's 1:51 p.m. And I wake up to my Facebook messages being blown up with stuff, this exact same message, and my email. In case Mark was afraid I wouldn't see him yelling at me in my Facebook Messenger, he also sent me emails. This is the email.
Imagine seeing this. Zach, imagine opening your
I just
email.
love how you respond like a child who's having a tantrum. You're like, what happened? What happened, dear heart?
Well, I don't know what he saw. I'll read the whole thing. All right. And I'm trying to talk to Mark. Like, I still consider this is why 2017, I was so naive. I still thought Mark Waid, even though I knew he was temperamental, I thought he was a normal person. I didn't understand what SJWs were. And I didn't understand that Mark Waid was an SJW. I thought that, you could reason with a normal person and bring them into reality. But SJWs do not want to be reasoned with. They're incapable of reason, and they don't want to be brought into reality. That's the way it is. So Mark Waid, imagine this. Fucking fix this, in all caps. Okay, this is Mark Waid talking to me, a peer in the industry, somebody who he calls a friend.
I think it's funny that it's all caps, but then it has a period instead of an exclamation point.
Yeah, if it had the period makes it like, what do you think the period makes it?
It kind of like diminishes it,
Fucking fix this.
Exactly.
No. It's fucking fix this is screaming with an exclamation point. Fucking fix this. That's if you haven't. But with the period, it's fucking fix this.
Oh, it's like him putting.
It's an order. Yeah, it's a knife hand. Fucking fix this. Okay, so he's ordering me. Go to Facebook now. Then go to YouTube. Fucking hold on a second. I'm giving him a rule. Go to Facebook now. Then go to YouTube. Fucking fix this, Ethan. Now. Do a video to your ratfuck followers that makes it clear to them that this will not be tolerated on your channel. Now. I can't fucking believe I fell into this trap, man. Everybody warned me, but no. I had to go extend an olive branch to your fuck-ass followers. I regret it now more than you can possibly fucking imagine.
Oh my God. I actually never heard this whole second stanza.
No, imagine
okay, so this is like, I wouldn't call him a stalker, but I told you the what is it? The life cycle of a stalker, and I remember it blew your mind. It's I like you, I love you. I just was spurned by you or disappointed by you. I just learned that you've been evil the whole time and you've been tricking me. Now I must punish you.
Say that again. Say that again slower now. Go through this.
Okay,
this is exactly what you and I go through.
This is the life cycle of a stalker. Step 1, I love you. Or step 1, I like you. Step 2, I love you. Step 3, you have spurned or disappointed me in some way. Step 4, I just discovered that you've been evil the entire time and you are tricking me. Step 5, now I must punish you for that.
Yeah. Do you think that people can create those kinds of people? Do you think that a narrative can be spun to actually generate that effect in people who are kind of normal but maybe predisposed to that kind of rejection?
So, and we talked about this before, because I'll be like, back in the day, I just answer every single email, and I was trying to be friendly, but one of the and now I'm not saying this is specifically about Mark. It's just the thing about calling it a trap. It was a freaking conversation. A trap is something that's laid. Like, you talk to one of your friends and you're like, hey, I'm going to ask these softball questions, but I want you to do all this stuff in the chat. Like, it's just weird, I thought. But weirdos and mentally ill people, again, not saying that specifically about Mark, they always look for codes. Things are codes. You said this, but you really meant this. And this, the thing you said to this person was actually your message to them. Mm-hmm. So I kind of, the thing I always do in my head is I say, good fences make good neighbors. So it's like, I'll start to respond and I'll be like, thanks. And I'll just write thanks instead of like, so it's one of those things where you should probably, dial back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I love Red Letter Media. I absolutely love them. Mm-hmm. But I've never gone like on their Twitter or their Instagram. I remember one time, like years ago, they had a forum and it was so cool to see like the two people there. And I was like, I'm going to hang out here every day because I like them so much. And then maybe we'll start talking. I'm like, wait, what the hell? What am I doing? No, I'm not. And I just never went back. But if you kind of give that too much contact, people can kind of create a relationship in their heads. And then if you don't respond to an email, oh my gosh, they lose it. It's like a breakup.
Yeah. I noticed that a lot. And I just, I see people realizing grand conspiracies everywhere I look. Hold on a second. Just some guys in here. I'm going to see, just some guy. Are you still on? Yeah, you are. I'm going to send you the link if you want to come in here, since this is about you and you can be a part of this. I haven't had you on the show in a while, but you're always invited. And There you go. The link is in your Twitter DM. Okay. Now we can go back to and guys if just some guy, just tell me when you get there, because I'm going to go back to screen sharing Mark Waid's tantrum at me. All right, here we go. So oh no, this isn't it. Fucking fix this. I love this. He says, I can't believe, by the way, read this. Like, I fell into this trap. Like, I was trapping Mark Waid. Everyone warned me. Can you imagine everyone around him saying, don't go on Ethan's show. It's a trap. This is all projection. Zach, I know it's just my word, but you have to understand my entire point of view from this, at this point in time, November 2017 was, I sense Comicsgate coming, Comicsgate being this kind of divide between, the SJWs who are ruining comics. I see that now, and normal people, the customers and other pros who do not like it. Comicsgate's coming. We got to try to join the divide. Mark Waid's a big part of the SJW part. Maybe if we have a conversation and that'll mend fences a little bit. Was not a trap at all. There was nothing duplicitous in anything that I was thinking. And he goes, everyone warned me. And by the way, he always uses this language like he's speaking to a massive audience, a mob of harassers, a mob of lunatics that he is in constant communication with. Everyone. Just like when he was scaring away what's his name from the Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
Everyone is angry at you. Everyone.
Well, he even said that in deposition. He's like, everyone was against it. It's like, who? He goes, the comic book industry. I'm like, what the hell?
You don't speak for the comic book industry, douchebag. I do. Let's see. He says, I had to go and extend an olive branch to your fuck ass followers. Those are customers. These are customers. These are the people who are following me. We've got 2,100 people watching right now. I think maybe more. Who knows? And these are customers. These people actually buy comics. 22. These are not. These people aren't. They deserve some respect. And even if I set a trap for you, Mark Waid, even if it was true that this was some trap for me to make you look good, which is what I ended up doing, these people wouldn't have been in on it. They would have been there to enjoy hearing about comic book history and about you doing The Flash and Kingdom Come.
I actually almost bought his. I was at the store and I had they had his original year of The Flash, and I almost bought it.
Really?
But then I was like, I can't really review it because it's going to be too weird. Like when I buy new stuff from him, it's just like, I review new stuff, but buying old stuff would kind of be a little weird. So I got the first Alan Moore Swamp Thing, but man, he was so good. I remember being like a senior in high school, I think. And oh gosh, his run was just so good.
Yeah, it was. Somebody told me to check the waiting room, and I thought just some guy was in it, but he's not in it yet. So if he's coming, he's not here yet.
By the way, wasn't this 3 days after you got married?
Yes. I just looked at the date. It was. I was a 3-day-old newlywed, and Mark Waid's telling me he wants to kill me with a chainsaw.
How does this go? You're like, Andrea's like, we got to check everything. We got everything ready for, we got the priest, we got the venue. You're like, babe, I'm trying to get someone to impersonate Mark Waid and say some dumb stuff in the comments. We'll get to that later if I have time. Yeah.
I'm trying to ruin Mark Waid and embarrass him. And now Mark Waid realizes that. He says, I regret it now more than you can possibly fucking imagine. There are some things that I regret more than someone could possibly fucking imagine. There's a handful of things. One of them would not be, say, going on a live stream where the people were hostile to me maybe and teased me.
If I remember correctly, I saw 2 screenshots of the fake Mark Waid. And if I remember correctly, he had been around for a while. And he didn't say anything that bad. It was just cheesy jokes, cheeseball exaggerations of impersonations.
We didn't the comic skaters didn't really hate Mark Waid back then. I mean, that was the thing, that we found him to be kind of a nuisance. And, some of the stuff, he was just kind of a little bit abusive on social media, a little bit of a kind of a, Mr. Tough Guy, a little bit temperamental, but people didn't really hate him until he started fucking with you.
And people used to do little imitation, do you remember Dandelion Boy?
Yeah.
I remember Dandelion Boy. And then I actually, I went to the Frank Miller signing and it's like, hey, Zachy, I go, he goes, I'm Dandelion Boy. And I was like, okay, that guy was actually pretty funny. And people just do it. Oh, I'm Dan Didio's mustache, or like that's what they would call themselves. Just
yeah. Well, there's everything for me. I mean, there's a guy named Ethan EVS's elbow pads now. I mean, people meme. I mean, part of the joy of this fandom, part of the joy of the YouTube community and everything is that everything's a joke, and the best thing that can happen to you on YouTube is that people love you so much they make fun of you consistently about a couple of things. That is the best thing that can happen to you. That means your fans really love you. They're engaged in your content, and they want to tease you. They want to rib you, and it's never done maliciously. So it's like I've got 800 different things that people make fun of me for, and I love them for it. And I feel when they abuse me about my weight and pies, I feel their love. Within that, I feel the love of fandom.
Are you doing anything about that, by the way?
Losing weight?
Yeah,
a little bit here and there. Yeah, I take walks and stuff, but
don't walk. Don't walk. Just fast.
Fast. I like to eat too much. I really do.
Yeah,
I mean, I like to eat
2 weeks, and then just start doing 2 meals a day instead of one. This is not a hard and fast rule, but it's a pretty hard and fast rule. One meal a day to lose weight, 2 meals a day to maintain weight, 3 meals a day to gain weight.
Yeah. Okay. 3 meals a day to gain weight?
Yeah. Do you steadily gain weight, or do you maintain weight at 3 meals a day?
I maintain weight. I don't really gain. I lose weight. I'll lose like 20 pounds and then it'll slowly come back. But I mean, there are times, especially during the holidays, when I just overeat. There's pie, there's cake around, and I eat everything I see. For the most part, I eat about 1.5 meals a day, and but the problem is I'm sedentary, so that's something that's real tough to cope with. Getting out of the house and actually moving around, you take it for granted because it's what you do. But when I'm behaving myself and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm making YouTube videos and drawing, so I'm on my ass.
So when they're like, finish the book, Ethan, they're really saying, get fat, Ethan.
Yeah. The fattest I ever was between Sinestro Corps and Flash Rebirth, because I was working so hard on those books. So between 2007 and 2010, 11, I blew up to nearly 300 pounds because all I was doing every single day. And you can see videos of me with just enormous, right down here. All I was doing every single day was drawing. And so I was always on my ass. I would draw 16 hours a day. And people say, go back to that. Remember when you used to draw all the time? It's horrible for you. I mean,
how does that feel? The most I've ever weighed is 214 at 6 foot tall. And you're 6 foot tall. What does 300 pounds feel? Does it feel like something?
You don't notice it, Zach. You don't notice it.
You don't notice it?
You don't know how fat you are when you're fat. You don't know. Even now, I look at myself and go, I'm not that fat. But then I'll see a picture of myself and I'll be like, oh, I'm fat. But you don't feel it. You don't notice it. A couple of things happen. You'll pull your back muscle a lot easier because of your weight. You will your clothes fit weird. I don't know. There are things that you notice that make you realize that you're fat, but you don't feel any different, really. And that's why it's so easy to get fat. You don't see it really happening.
Yeah, I was 40 pounds overweight for 12 years, and I always thought I was 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Then I lost 10 pounds. I go, maybe a little bit more. And now I'm down 35 pounds, and I'm still 10 pounds to go.
How do you know what you look like except to look in the mirror, right? So when you look in the mirror, you're looking straight on.
Feeling fat.
At 215, you felt fat?
I remember having tits. You can see, you catch your reflection going into the grocery store and you see these two shadows and you're like, well, that can't be right. But then it's with every single shirt you wear. And you're like, oh gosh, this is awful.
Yeah. It's not great. It isn't great. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be drawing comics all the time. I mean, I want to draw, I want to do about 100 pages a year. And I think that's healthy.
But then also maybe you have a fat personality. Al Roker lost weight and nobody likes it. He doesn't like it. He had a fat guy's personality. I think you might have a fat guy. I know you have a fat guy's personality.
Well, what's a fat guy's personality?
Very jolly.
I mean, look, I'm happy, but Zach, I got to be honest with you. I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like you know,
That's what jolly means. What do you?
yeah, like the idea of me being like, you're miserable because you're overweight. No, I mean, I have problems. All of my problems are not related to my weight. They're related to obsessive weirdos who want to destroy my life. That's the entirety of my problems. You know, everything else, when it comes to looking the way I look and feeling the way I feel great. You know, I'm married. I'm happily married. You know, it's like I have a beautiful family. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I have plenty of money. So I'm a little heavy. I'm not looking for chicks. I think being in shape is important, especially for two reasons. One, you want to live longer. That's a concern of mine. But the other reason is to, you know, I don't know, find women, right? I mean, get out there
The other
and
thing I've
look
noticed about is fat people is you're like, oh, you're gonna die, but then they get to their 50s and they just lose a bunch of weight and then they're skinny. Like, remember Tom DeFalco? He
That's
was
cancer, Zach.
fat.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yes. That's cancer or AIDS that does that suddenly.
No, I'm talking specifically about Tom DeFalco. Did he get
Oh,
cancer?
no. I don't know about Tom
He was
DeFalco at all.
fat all when he's in charge of Marvel, and then he kind of disappeared for a couple years, and he's skinny. And every time I see him do an interview, he's skinny. It's like, just lose weight.
I think
you
he
don't
looks
recognize
weird.
him.
Like, there's some people who are fat who
He's
need to be
supposed to
fat.
be fat. Yeah, he
Yeah.
needs to be fat. He just, yeah.
I look better skinny. I got to be honest, but I don't feel any different either way. You know, I'm
Oh,
I'm pretty
say,
drippy.
just some guys in the chat.
Oh, good. Hold on a second. Let's get him in here. Just some guy will. If just some guy tells me to get in shape, I will. You know, I trust just some guy's opinion. All right, just some guy. How come your name says just some guy, plural? How can we trust what you have to say when you can't spell just?
This will launch 1 million conspiracy theories.
Hold on.
Hang on one second. I'll be right back.
I don't think I can change it
You guys can
once
keep
I'm
talking.
in. We'll leave it as it is. I can't change it once I'm.
Oh my gosh, Ethan just left us on the same side of the booth at the restaurant. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that is awkward. Yes, I've had that unfortunate experience.
Okay, so did you hear? I came in, I think, like 30-40 minutes ago. He was going over mainly the Mark Waid Facebook post, and then he started showing an email, and he's in the middle of that.
Yeah, let's the email. People, hi, just some guy. It's great to have you on the show, by the way. Appreciate you.
How you doing?
Good. Listen to his voice. It's him. You know what I mean? I'm like delighted.
I don't understand why everyone's so excited by the voice.
Well, because you don't. Here's the thing. You know, a lot of these guys come on. We know them so well. You know, it's like we know most of these YouTubers pretty personally. But you're kind of a satellite YouTuber. You know, out on your own, and you rarely collaborate. You know, so it's kind of cool to have you in.
Oh, okay.
Well, just some guys.
I don't hear the voice thing. That's all.
Yeah.
Like.
No, it's just, it's not your voice is special or different. It's just, we know your voice. That's all. You know, I went to, I dropped in on Dynamite Comics and to pick up stuff for this new Vampy cover. And the couple of people in that office listen to my show all the time. So they want to talk to me. And it's like, when I'm talking to them, their faces are doing this and they're going, I can't believe you're standing right in front of me with that voice. That's crazy. There's something about listening to someone on YouTube for a long time that when you actually interact with them personally, it's kind of cool. I don't know. It's a little bit of celebrity happens. So it's kind of neat. All right, just some guy. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Mark Waid wants me to fucking fix this.
I've seen those. I've seen those.
Yeah. So we're gonna go through this. This is just to illustrate. This is just to illustrate exactly who Mark is and how he cannot cope with any kind of criticism. No, mockery. Like, he can't cope with any kind of slight mockery or affront or criticism or parody. So he says this. He says, I regret it. Coming on my show, I regret it now more than you can possibly fucking imagine. And that was before. By the way, now he must regret it even more because he wrote this, and fucking fix this has worked its way into the Comicsgate lexicon. So
does now he ever say fix this now, or is that like a beam me up Scotty thing?
Get ready, you'll see it.
Oh wait, he does. Okay.
And by the way, This I'll see if I can find the it's harder to show Facebook messages because you can see other people's messages on the side. But if there's some way that I can isolate his Facebook Messenger screed, I would share that with everybody as well. So I said, what happened? He says, one of your asshole followers created an impersonation account to have me slag off your fans in the comments. I've already
This is so old. Like, I just imagine him churning butter before typing this. Impersonation accounts.
Impersonation. It's not an impersonation. It's a parody.
And then he put me in quotations so you knew it wasn't really him.
Yeah, like he wasn't the one slagging off my fans. Oh, it wasn't you? Well, you just call them fuck-ass followers one post ago, so it might as well have been you. It might as well have been you. He says, I've already reported it for impersonation, but that's not enough to shut down the damage.
One of the things I love is that
I don't. Apparently, damage was already done. There are some people who had a good opinion of Mark Waid. Then they saw a very good impersonation of him.
Very bad and very transparently, obviously, impersonation of him.
Yeah.
Saying ridiculous things like probably like I just farted or something like that. But one of the things I love about people who have never worked in tech is how they imagine like their reports work. Like, have you ever seen that movie Brazil by Terry Gilliam?
I mean to. I've never seen it.
I only saw it like 2 months ago.
I liked it.
You know how they'll have their messages and they'll come down these tubes like from the olden days?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll go to some center and then people will put it in a cart and rush it to another area. He thinks there's this whole like giant office building just for reporting stuff on YouTube. No, it's probably about 18 people. They live in Silicon Valley. They make like $14 an hour. And a lot of this stuff is just canned answers. Okay. You know, they're just collecting data. Right. I reported it for impersonation, but that's not enough to shut down the damage.
Well, we're going to have to go on a whole big counter narrative campaign for you, Mark.
So what's the deal? Like the next month, someone was going to buy Captain America. They're like, I used to like Mark Waid, but then he typed, I just farted in the comments on that, you know, Ethan live stream. And I don't know.
I'm not down with that. By the way, I just got $100 super chat from Emin, M-E-M-N, and then a space. He says, Ethan, kick that white supremacist, just some guy from the chat, literally shaking. Everybody's very upset about you being here, just some guy. You know, people already think I can sort with. Well, you know, you're clearly a white supremacist. Matt Horkin says, just some guy. How do you feel about securing our? Matt Horkin just offered you the 14 words, and he wants to know how you feel about the 14 words. Pro, con, neutral, asking for a friend.
I don't even know what that is. The 14 words.
The 14
some Nazi thing that I'm not bothered to learn. It's not on the American Heroes channel, so I don't know anything about it.
Just some guy, you're clipping real bad. Like your audio's awful. Is there some way you can fix that? Fix that now?
Let me see.
Fucking fix this now.
Let me log off and
so this is a Chicago thing, but all of the bullets flying through the air interfere with radio waves. So that's a standard signal for Chicago.
You just doxed just some guy.
Everyone knows he's from Chicago.
Oh, okay. Now they're more likely to find him. All right, so he wants me to shut down the damage. All right, I gotta quit for a second again, and I gotta go make sure that just some guy gets back in. It's a lot of work, Zach. You know, you basically by stopping doing live streams, you've saved yourself an enormous amount of trouble.
Dude, that thing, once I remember hearing the rumor, they're like, YouTube takes a third of your earnings. I was like, that can't be true. And then when I found out it was true, my enthusiasm just freaking evaporated.
It's not, but I mean, it is fun though. You know, live streaming's fun. And you were fun when you were doing live streams. You'd be like,
I used to be doing them every day when I didn't know YouTube was grabbing a third and then taxes was taking another third.
Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it? And YouTube and taxes. Dunning-Kruger says, we have Ignited and the Hunt movie. It's apparently fine to make art about killing people to the right of Mao now. I see. Yeah, we're in trouble. I don't know, just some guys coming back. All right, let's go back to this. Let me know if just some guy, when you pop back.
I'll let him know. I keep an eye on this.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Share screen. I like this better. I really like this StreamYard, but much better than Google Hangouts.
It's got benefits and it's easier for me to get on. I always had trouble getting on to Google Hangouts. That's why you would send me the link and I would show up like 15 minutes later. But
Yeah.
your audio is not as good. It's kind of tinny.
You know what it is? It's because my microphone isn't right in front of my face like it used to be.
Oh, that's good now. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like, stop putting your microphone in front of your face. And I'm like, well, it's two benefits. One, you don't have to look at my face. And two, the audio is better. So fuck it. I'll just talk right into the mic. All right. So I said to him, okay, relax. I hate having to talk to other adults like this.
You're not just talking to, you're talking to him like you're in a relationship. Probably, it's on the down slope. Baby.
Yeah.
What's wrong, baby?
I said, okay, relax. It's not, quote, one of my fans. This happened to me and Dan Slott, too. Somebody created a page called see this, Keel, and then look at this word here. And pronounce this word in your head. And you can go, wait. Oh, that's awful. Like, I would have to say that.
You know what? I think back when I used to do live streams, I think I got to the middle of this guy, like thanking him, and he gave me a super chat.
Oh, really?
So it was like, thanks. And then luckily, oh my gosh. And I just stopped.
Yeah. I think I said it once, but the thing is, he had a picture of me as his profile picture, like a photograph of me. So, it was just like, yeah, this is intended to, I don't know. This is friendly, like severe friendly trolling, or it's somebody who hates me. Who can sort through that? But it just is what it is. It's the internet. Get a helmet. The internet is a rough place where people are harassed and abused, and you either endure and deal with it, or you get off the internet. So in any case, with my face.
By the way, no one I've ever said, like, a lot of times when people will say, like, I'm having a problem in this or that, I go, just leave. Like, I've never had anyone say I left and that was bad.
I know that's something that you advocate for. You're constantly.
Consistently, people will write me 1 or 2 months later, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so much happier," and they go, "I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying even when I wasn't online."
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just thinking, "Oh, what are they gonna do next?"
Yeah.
But just some guys back, yeah.
Just some guy. Welcome.
How does it sound now?
It doesn't sound no worse. Not worse, but now you're roboting a little bit. Talk more.
Yeah.
Just some guy.
Better or worse?
It's fine. We'll get through it because I want you here and I want to hear what you have to say. It's important.
Okay, so I can always try switching to my regular mic. I just use the headphones because I have so much traffic going by.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're all right now. Okay, so back to this. So I say, it's not one of my fans. This happened to me and Dan Slott. I said, someone created a page called something that would make me say the N-word with my face on it to show up on other YouTubers' chats and claim to be me shouting white supremacist slogans. It's just a troll. I saw the fake Mark Waid guy saying things about me and him. Oh, that's what he was saying. He was saying, hey, it's my best friend, Ethan Van Sciver. Like, all right. So I saw the fake Mark Waid guy saying things about me and him being best friends and hating diversity in comics. And everyone knew it was a troll account. There was a fake Dan Slott who was goofing on his interview too. What would you like me to do about this? And here's what Mark Waid would like me to do. Why is this happening? He said, make a video for your channel, making it abundantly clear to your followers that this sort of shit will not be tolerated and does not help. You cannot tell from this if that's a troll account. Fuck those
anyone
guys.
With normal human emotions and an adult, personality could tell. I remember it being blazingly clear.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
First of all, just logic. Why would you comment in the live stream you're on? I'm Mark Waid, and I like Ethan. What the hell? Stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right. This is where he's. So he says, he tells me what he wants me to do. Just some guy. He wants me to make a video. He wanted me to make a video for my channel that would lecture my followers and say, do not make fun of Mark Waid. Like, don't make a fake account because it won't be tolerated and does not help. Does not help what?
People take that word followers way too literally.
Yeah.
These are just people who listen to your stuff. Can you imagine giving people orders? Stop doing this.
Well,
Shut the hell up. That's what they'd say. Shut up.
If you want to make people angry, what you can do, and people do this to me all the time. They're like, your fans, your little cronies, your minions. Minions is a new one. Your minions. Oh, they're just people who enjoy my content. You know, it's like, honestly, they send me some super chats and they want to, they're my customers. They're not my minions. But I mean, it's manipulative language. I mean, look, my followers. So I am Jesus and they are my disciples and I tell them what to do. You know, this is all manipulative language. And when you recognize it, you start to kind of get annoyed with it. All right. So he goes, fuck those guys, Ethan. And by the way, this kind of attitude here was being directed at me all the time by Mark Waid in private. You know, he was trying to tell me, you know, hey, you know, Captain Cummings, diversity in comics, they're going to destroy you. They're going to utterly destroy your life. So fuck those guys. Fuck those guys, Ethan. Fuck them with a rusty chainsaw. Sorry, one guy fucked it up for everyone trying to build bridges, but I'm out. Now, I told people yesterday about something. This is old school, Zach, and you need to bring it back. Dramatic sachet out.
Oh, that's like proto Zach. That was like from 10 years ago on Facebook.
I never forgot it, and it's totally like now more than ever. It is true. You know, it's like I'm out. I'm outie. I'm out of here. It's like you say your shit and then you
go.
Yeah, I'm out. So Zach used to call it a DSO, a dramatic sachet, because it would kind of be this effeminate sort of clapping and whipping around and then leaving the room in a huff. Dramatic sachet out. I missed that, dude. That was funny.
Can't you just see him throwing a boa over his shoulder?
That's exactly what I'm trying to describe. That is exactly what I'm trying to describe. That visual, but anger, out of anger, like, and disgust. You know,
yeah,
dramatic.
Not fabulousness, just like,
Yeah. All right. So he says, I know it can happen anywhere at any time, but it happened here and now for a reason, because Meyer and Cummings, you two used to be the villains. Now it's me and you. You know, you two, Meyer and Cummings and his fucktard brigade encourage that sort of shit every fucking day.
Oh my God. I mean, it's kind of pointless to talk to someone behaving in an erratic fashion and saying, hey, what they're saying isn't true. But I remember very consciously at the time, I avoided both of them like the plague. I just kind of clicked in for 1 second just to see like if he actually showed up, and then I would click it off. Like I didn't even watch. And people were like saying, oh, are you going to do a bit? Are you going to ask him questions? I was like, no, I'm going to give him his space. Just like when I go to conventions, I'm not just like, you know, well, do you remember when that Susan Auger said I was stalking people by not talking to them at New York Comic Con?
Yeah. You went over and you looked that somebody was there and then you left. So you were stalking them. You didn't go up and talk to them because I think, see, either way, you have every right to kind of walk around and check out Artist Alley.
You had someone call the police on you for saying that people can talk to someone at a convention, but then also not talking is also, I'm starting to think that a lot of these people are maybe a little bit off.
A little bit. Yeah, we can talk about that Tim Doyle thing in a second. Is just some guy back out? Let me check, because he left and
No, he's gone. No, wait.
Nope, he's not there.
He said something about vehicles near his house.
Yeah, he's having a tough time. Another time, just some guy. Sorry, this would have been good to get you on, but thanks for coming in. All right, so by the way, again, so much of what they say is projection. You know, it's like, don't try to tell me that they don't, because, you know, Myers and Cummings and his fucktard brigade encourage that sort of shit every day. Okay. They encourage you to harass people, to go after people. This is projection. This is what he's doing here. Thanks for spreading the truth. Do me a favor and circulate my lies.
A knowingly false defamation that can damage someone for the rest of their life because they teased you once on one day.
Yeah, I don't even think this is teasing. I really don't. I think this is pretty astute commentary about.
Yeah, it's razor sharp.
And it has nothing to do with Mark Waid necessarily. It has to do with everyone. It has to do with everyone who is like Mark Waid, not just Mark Waid as a person or individual. You know, so this is Mark Waid encouraging his fucktard rat fuck brigade, essentially, if I could use his words,
to spread lies about white supremacist, black bisexual, just some guy, by spreading this accusation. So it's always interesting. It's like when they say things like, you're spreading that, you're encouraging that. Actually, what the two of us kind of do is say, do not harass these people. Do not bother these people. Do not. We're going to talk about what goes on. We're going to talk about the tactics of social justice warriors and how they accomplish what they accomplish, because they're skilled at it. But I don't think there's ever been a time when either of us have done everything or have done anything except for condemn the kind of behavior that he engages in himself and accuses us of.
Well, it's also the thing about, I just think it's like, I always talk about this. I've never been condemned by Pepsi and they sell Crest on death row. Like, I've had to be like, can you condemn this? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, don't do anything bad ever in the world. Like, there, I just did it. Don't.
Yeah. Essentially, it's funny. There are people who are just hoping, like they have enemies on the internet.
Because the condemn, that means that you were promoting it before you condemned it. It's
Right.
like when they say apologize, they use it as guilt. When you condemn it, it's like, oh, so before you weren't condemning it.
Right. Well, that's a
You were
good
encouraging
point.
it.
That's a good point. But also, I don't know. I think there are people who want to use other people to sort of fight their fights for them. So they're getting into little internet fights. And then I guess we're supposed to come out and condemn their enemies. And that'll show them. It's pretty. There's a lot of psychology.
Unless it involves physical abuse. If you're both adults, try to talk it out if possible. If you can't, just give them space.
Mm-hmm. Walk away. All right. So he says, and don't tell me they don't. The main reason I got so much shit for my cap quote, and that was the strong protect the weak. You remember that? Was because one of their vids spun it and deliberately incited fans to come after me. So what that was Captain America, written by Mark Waid, said, hey, the strong must protect the weak. And Mark Waid kind of posted that quote on his social media, which was criticized by Captain Cummings. I think you might have done it too, to imply that so much of what Mark Waid does, so much of the bullying that he engages in, is because he thinks he is strong and other people are weak.
Well, I mean, he said that very, very blatant. He's like, I've got strong shoulders. It's like, no,
yeah.
No, you don't. You have fragile everything. But what he does is he presents himself as a savior, as a hero. But then it's all just like, it all comes back to ego, and it's Monday morning quarterbacking, armchair psychology. But he graduated high school like 2 or 3 years early, and like you said, he never had to go to gym class and have a bunch of his peers make fun of him and then roast him back, and then realize that, oh, words actually don't kill you, and you can just cook someone back and then everyone laughs and you're friends.
That's ideal. That's what guys do. All right. So incited fans to come after me. I mean, even if he did, like, even if your cap quote was dumb, and then we made fun of it, and then people came after you people quoted you on Twitter and made fun of your dumb quote. Big deal. You get out of public life. If you say and do dumb things.
Oh, he's called mongrels? Oh my!
He does. Get ready.
Mongrels. Wow.
He says, "I really am out. There's no point in trying to build bridges. I just don't have the patience to deal with mongrels anymore. Sorry."
Wow.
That's Hitlerian, man. That is Nazi language there.
I haven't heard. I mean, that's the tough.
Mongrels.
You really see people use words like that in newsreels.
Hitler called America a mongrel nation.
It's just such an old word. Who uses that?
I don't know. I guess it's only purebred for Mark Waid. I guess Mark Waid is kind of a white supremacist.
I'm not saying that.
No, I know you're not saying that. I'm saying it. I'm saying that this is the language I am saying, in my opinion, that white supremacists use that kind of language. They demand pure breeding, and they use language like mongrels to describe people who are not, purebred. I guess you would say. What would white supremacists call that? But in any case, that's what a mongrel is. It's somebody who is not ethnically pure. So it's odd to hear that language coming from Mark Waid. That's the language that Hitler used to describe the United States. He said, a mongrel nation like America will never defeat me. And then we did. And then we did, Mark.
Take that, Ian. So
exactly. Okay. I say, look, Mark, this is me being reasonable. Mark, I'd make a video explaining the situation, but here are my concerns. Number one, I don't want to give people who do this extra attention. There's currently a couple of fake Twitter pages under my name calling me a Nazi. I ignore them. Shining a light on them just fans flames. Number two, my YouTube page isn't about drama. Well, it wasn't. This video would be like nothing else on my channel, and I don't want it. I'll do it out of friendship if you say so. And the whole time when I said that, I kind of secretly thought, if he wants me to do this, this is going to utterly destroy him. And I'm kind of annoyed at this thing. If he wants me to do this, I will do it. And it will hurt Mark Waid. But I'm trying to talk him out of it. Number three, your interview was beautiful. Perfect bit of PR for fans of all stripes who will find it and enjoy it and get to know the writer of their favorite comics more intimately. Look how kind I am. I said, this isn't my fans, Comicsgate bullshit. This is all fans, comics fans. Why make this interview a bad thing? Now, I want to point out that when I say Comicsgate bullshit, this was November of 2017. Comicsgate was an accusation that the left was making against the right, essentially. Or no, that the far left was making against their critics, not just the right, everyone. And they were calling it Comicsgate. It wasn't until around February of 2018 that I kind of flipped this term around and said, I am Comicsgate. In other words, I'm accepting this label. And I'm gonna apply it to myself and everything that I say from here on out. So that's when Comicsgate kind of became what the movement actually called itself. As far as I know, but that's not what this meant then. Number four says, I hope you don't blame me for this, and I'm also unhappy to see you saying you won't do interviews on YouTube for a long, long time. I hope that you see that I treated you fairly, and I hope you also take a moment to consider that you'd be letting one anonymous person ruin all of the goodwill you work to create. Let me know. And then I come back, I said, this dude just told me that parody account has existed for years. Sorry, this is completely unrelated to me or our interview. Whatever, fine. That's a grown up.
Did you guys ever date?
No, not that I can remember. I mean, whatever, fine. That's an adult who's older than me talking to me. I said, Mark, I'm on your side. Are we okay? I don't hold you responsible for your fans, but even if this account's been around for a while, you only have one guy's word to take for it, and he isn't sure. It's just sick out there. Fucking sick. This isn't about trolling criticism. I've had more than my share than anyone given the length and breadth of my work. This is about the shit that your friends Meyer and Cummings and their crew stir up. Again, this was just one account that showed up on my live stream and said, Ethan and Mark are best friends. They hate diversity in comics together. Okay, so this is what he's referring to when he says, this is about the shit that your friends Meyer and Cummings and their crew stir up. They're wannabe Alex Joneses. They are vile. They're hateful. They are racist. I can't be spending any more time around someone, that's me, who helps promote a guy who literally came on Facebook to tell me, exact quote, kill yourself, Waid. I bear you no personal malice, but dude, there's a reason nearly everyone in comics thinks ill of you at this point. Can you imagine this? Just see what I went through during this?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, if this isn't poignant evidence of how, people say, why don't you walk away from Comicsgate? Why don't you? I can't. This exists. This is still going on. This kind of manipulation, this kind of like us versus them, this kind of bullshit that, attempts to frighten people and coerce people into denouncing and disavowing their friends, being afraid of one another. This is all coming from sources like Mark Waid, and it's right here.
The environment you're talking about, when is that ever the good guys? When have you ever read a history book? It's like, and then this group came into the country and they told us what we could say and who we could talk to, and they monitored our association and everything was fine. No, yeah. This is like this Stasi in East Germany during the Cold War.
These are the villains.
Everyone hates you, and I was the only one.
But
so
now
you're supposed to go, this is what you're supposed to say. Oh my gosh, Mark, I'm sorry. I'll make that right away. and I'll never talk to that evil Meyer. Oh, awful Cummings again. You were right about it. I was such a fool for trusting them.
This happens to me all the time, by the way. You know, it's like this happens to me all the time, and I don't fall for this. I mean, I'm not really somebody who falls for this. I kind of just, when I hear this, I can identify immediately who the bad guy is. When people are saying, you're hanging out with this guy, and that makes you guilt by association, you're the bad guy. I go, oh, you're the bad guy. I understand. This is coercion. This is peer pressure. This is high school. You know, I won't do
it's
that.
So much worse than high school. It's the freaking Stasi. It's the freaking KGB. Can you imagine? I've been monitoring who you've been speaking to and who they've been speaking to. And I'm going to destroy you because of it unless you look. Oh my God, this is like straight out of Kafka.
And by the way, when I did the Mark Waid and Dan Slott interviews, do you know who from Comicsgate told me not to do it? 0 people. 0. Doug Ernst didn't tell me not to do it. Captain Cummings didn't tell me not to do it. Your boy Zach didn't tell me not to do it. They didn't say, these guys are assholes, Ethan. You don't want to be involved with them. Yeah. Don't give them oxygen. No, they didn't say that. They understood what I was doing, and they saw it as, yeah, you want to, of course you do. You want to give an interview. Nobody said don't do that. So people who want to silence other people, you know, people who want to sort of isolate people who, and that's kind of what they do. They want to isolate individuals. They wanted me to isolate Cummings and Meyer, as Mark Waid called them. Isolate them. The fact that they have a friend like you in a powerful position does not serve our purposes, which is to destroy the criticism that we're receiving, the valid criticism, as we take over and destroy the comic book industry. You standing by them gives them power. You standing by them gives them legitimacy. If you do not step away from them, there's going to be trouble for you. If you do not disavow and denounce them, there's going to be trouble for you. And right now I'm going to play on your emotions. Nearly everyone in comics thinks ill of you at this point. It's because you're lying down with dogs and getting up with fleas. I'm sorry that you don't feel it's fair to be painted with a broad brush, but I'm telling you, there's no upside for you in continuing to associate with grown racist men who sling around words like cuck and who send death threats and threats of violence. Okay? How many lies are in that? This is a threat and a lie. So it's a bunch of lies attached to a threat. If you do not, at this point, and I'm using, we have descended.
Hey, I'm sorry, but this is going to become a meme. Please scroll down.
Where?
Please scroll down. I'm off to France.
Yeah. I'm leaving to France.
This is Gail Simone 101. They never just, I'm going to do, like, they always have to, I'm doing this. I'm going to this convention. Like, we understand you go places. I'm off to France.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. All right. So, but this is it. Right here, this was the threat. This was my final warning. And I do believe that. I think Mark Waid saw what he was doing. Mark Waid, a couple of people I saw in public at the time, and I wish I had evidence for this, so feel free not to believe me. But a couple of people on Twitter were saying, what are you doing going on Ethan Van Sciver's show? What are you, nuts? And Mark Waid said, just trust me, to them. Just trust me. And I went, that's weird.
Well, that is one of the things they go into, and the same accusation has been about Mark Zaid, is they'll say, I'm going to go talk, and then if one thing is not a compliment, they will harp on that forever, and they'll say, like, see, they're all monsters, but they're like giggling and smirking. Mm-hmm. It's just like this. It's a stupid high school game. Can we have like a Billy Madison where Mark Waid goes and he finishes those last 2 years of high school and then he comes out normal?
I think that would be good. I don't know if he ever would come out normal. You know,
Marky Waidison.
I don't know what causes this, but he's not alone. I mean, this kind of language is exactly the same language that all SJWs use. This is absolutely, if you had put Kurt Busiek instead of Mark Waid, it would seem normal. If you would put Gail Simone,
who?
Kurt Busiek.
I need a last name. I'm just hearing a first and a middle name.
Kurt Busiek?
Oh, you mean Kurt Busiek resists?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, do you not understand? Yeah, Kurt Busiek resists. If you had put him in there, this would have sounded the same. Gail Simone talks this exact same way.
exact same way, same
You
language.
notice
same,
they have this like faux literary way of speaking. Well, they'll talk and then they'll just put in these canned phrases. Lie down with dogs,
Mhm.
get up with fleas.
Well,
If you don't want to be painted with a broad brush.
Tim Doyle uses that same phrase. I'm sorry, but you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. These are all threats. All of these are just manipulative threats that are just saying, essentially, help us isolate our target. You are in the way. And by the way, we have cleared out everyone else with these same threats. Why are you so stupid? Why won't you clear out the same way? You are going to become a target next. And indeed, that's what happened after this. I became a target just as big, if not bigger, than your boy Zach. They couldn't get rid of me. They decided to take me down and destroy me. And indeed, by the following February, I had to.
I mean, they
quit
did get you
Comics.
a freaking giant tax bill, so they did kind of win in the end.
Yeah. I ended up making a lot of money, and that's for sure. But this is that's not something
I
I
noticed
don't.
you mentioned this the other day. It's still weird to me to write a check for 80,000.
Yeah, it is
sounds
weird.
like something you would do right before someone shot you in the back of the head. Empty out your bank account, or we're going to kill your family. Okay.
We're dealing with a lot of money lately. It's crazy, I know. By the way, speaking of a lot of money and raising a lot of money off of assholes like Mark Waid here, look, in the meantime, if you want to support, my new Indiegogo, Ethan Man Skyri's Vampirella Red Foil variant, I just started this up. I don't like this whole monetize your haters thing. I just can't do it. But if you are interested in buying like one of my new comic book, it is available. The link's in the description. And I think it's cool. We have red foil logos on this, so links in the description.
Can you name one of the perk tiers? I'm off to France.
I can't. You told me not to do stuff like that.
No, but this would literally be to one person to fund you just flying to France. $2,500.
I'm off to France. I'm out. I want to revisit this maybe when I return, but I'm telling you, the followers they have who migrate over to you are followers who are fucking monsters. And that's you guys. You guys are fucking monsters, apparently.
Well, actually, I do notice something in this. And just like with the who is that slow guy at the Rob Granito?
Yeah.
Where you kind of you're the Ra's al Ghul of Beta Man. You were the one who got him to stand up and walk over and confront someone. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So you gave him that little thrill. It's like, oh, I can, and then I get to tell everyone I did it. But then, do you notice you threw in the phrase "white supremacist"? He was doing racist, mongrel, monster, all this other kind of stuff. But I don't remember him calling people white supremacists before this. I feel like he saw that and maybe thought, "Ooh, that's got a certain sound to it. It sounds better than racist," because everyone calls everyone racist these days.
Well, first of all, white supremacist was that phrase started to happen right around the election. Before racist did just fine, bigot did just fine. White supremacists started popping up with regard to the alt-right. And I remember the alt-right when people first started talking about the alt-right. It was these. It seemed to me, as somebody who sort of followed, politics leading up to the election, they just seemed to be kind of like memesters. I didn't really understand what the alt-right was. And then the Richard Spencer with the Heil Trump thing came out, and it was like, ooh. But people started to talk about, white supremacy and use that phrase instead of, just racist or, whatever it was. White supremacy really came out of the woodwork because it is a far more lurid phrase than just racist is. I don't think I put that in Mark Waid's head. I think that was already. I mean, look, Heather Antos was calling you a white supremacist, back then. It's just the worst thing in the world. I mean, to be called a white supremacist, it's the worst thing in the world.
And they do it's literally like, oh, this guy said I was a fake geek girl. I got something for him. Never getting a job for the rest of his freaking life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they
throw
don't
this
really
stuff out
measure
there.
up. What happened here? What is Mark Waid complaining about with this whole thing? Let's look at where this went. I mean, honestly, let's start this. He starts out like hysterical, and his complaint is, there's one guy in the chat that we did that was making fun of him and saying, you like Ethan Van Sciver, or whatever it was that he was saying. And this one guy who's just mildly making cutesy comments about Mark Waid and pretending to be Mark Waid. This is how angry he gets over that. And the situation, what would you like me to do about it? And it ends in a threat. It ends in a threat after I'm polite to him 3 different times. I'm hey, look, what can I do about this, Mark? Aren't we friends? What's going on? It ends in this threat. Like, everyone hates you, and there's going to be no upside for you in continuing to associate with grown racist men. So again, lie, who sling around words like cuck and send death threats and threats of violence. I haven't seen those. I haven't seen those. I don't know what he's talking about. That's that thing where
this is the thing where they just start throwing out these Rolodex. So you're like, oh, did Meyer do that? Well, him as an associates. So what are his associates? Just anyone that I don't like. I don't like him. They're all connected. We all meet in a freaking Legion of Doom that has freaking 130,000 seats in it.
Oh, there's a Legion of Doom. There are a bunch of Legions of Dooms.
Exactly. And all the things they accuse us of, I mean, they have their little, Facebook groups and their whisper networks, and that stuff is every day.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it except just keep pointing this out. I mean, this is something that's never going to stop. I might as well turn my camera back on because.
So do you think this is going to go to trial? Do you think Mark is going to try to settle? Or some kind of excuse to, oh, well, this and that and yet, but like, go in front of a jury with this type of tantrums and threats and like exaggerations and flat out lies and like, I mean, he is in charge. He can just tell us, no, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I don't know what the future holds for that. I'm waiting to see. I can picture him trying to settle. I can picture him trying to settle, but it's going to involve keeping you quiet. It's going to be a moderate sum of money. It's going to be, there's going to be he'll manipulate it in a way that, it'll make him look good. He'll know, he won't admit wrongdoing, et cetera, et cetera. He'll just throw you some money. And I think that's what he's going to eventually try to do. But, the thing about it is the longer that this goes on, the more SJWs are going to kind of make this into not a thing. While you are, this is my concern. While you are out of the way, while you're watching your mouth because of this trial, these guys can kind of pick apart what's the other people, the other voices in Comicsgate. They can demoralize the fans, and by the time you get your victory, it'll be a Pyrrhic one. Because
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be 2 years from now, and there'll be freaking 1,200 stores. And freaking
the comic industry is dead. Comicsgate will be a tiny, movement because they figure they will have destroyed it. And congratulations, you beat Mark Waid and nobody cares.
Yeah, because nobody cares about comics anymore.
Right.
Did you see? We talked about in the last live stream where he's like, North American sales don't really matter for Ignited. This is for the European market. No Europeans want to read about Cecilia Kobina, the super smart doctor that's drawn in a format and aspect ratio that looks nothing like European comics.
Yeah. The idea that we are going to, what's left of American comics is going to go to Europe and make a big splash. Like, they don't want this shit. Americans don't want this. They would do
like, what was the Superman Jim Lee storyline he did with Azzarello?
Oh, yeah.
That's the type of thing you would see in a Bahnhof, in a train station in Europe. You're going to see Sean Gordon Murphy. You're probably going to see the Mr. Miracle with Tom King. You're not going to see Joe Average, 6 issues of Batman. And you're not going to see freaking Ignited anywhere. It's ridiculous.
No, it's garbage. You will see Cyberfolk Blood Honey, though. I'll tell you that. That's going to be big in Europe. I don't know, Zach. Honestly, going through this stuff reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. People forget
You know, I can't forget. I can't let it go. Am I just stupid? Like, why can't I let it go? Why am I still so determined to fight for this?
Oh, I mean, at some points, like I mean, you just kind of said, by the time where we've kind of gotten some kind of decisive answer, it's going to be completely moot. You talked about DC going away. I don't think DC and Marvel are going to go away. I think they're gonna split into YA lines and then like a prestige line. They'll be at Barnes and Noble, and they'll do some ads for it and stuff like that. But yeah, effectively, the comics go into the store, and good relationships with the fans. That's all dead. I mean, we're almost at the end of 4 years of sales going down. Like there's no pulling out of this tailspin.
So basically that's the mainstream, and I still feel like it can be. I feel like comics can be saved though. It's just they have to evolve. Can the mainstream evolve?
No, not when Donny Cates 2 days before he launches Absolute Carnage, which is the biggest event of Marvel of the year, is spending half an afternoon calling you a racist and a homophobe. There's no pulling out of this. Like it's completely converged and infected industry. So the best thing we can do is have our own, satellite, a rocket ship to somewhere else. And so far it's been good. Indiegogo has stood strong with us. Both you and I have gotten exceptions to the one project at a time rule, which was a major limit on my business. And now that's gone. So if the secret project happens, I can just launch that, at the same time as Iron Sights 2. Dynamite, probably just by not even knowing that it happened, stood strong when 12 weirdos tried to protest you doing a variant cover. Like, how do you even protest that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I got to keep doing this. Like the Dynamite thing, like they thought it was like a one-off, and they were like, look at Ethan, he's just got to do. And now I got to do more of it. I mean, I would have just stopped maybe with just the one, just to kind of make the point, but it bothered them so much that I got to keep doing it. And by the way, I'm talking about somebody sent me a Vampirella standee, and I got a little tip off. Like it's a big cardboard standee that has like you can display your Vampirella comics in it. So I have friends at Dynamite, and I talked to them, and I said, "Where did you get those made, and how did you get them?" And they're so cool. They're like letting me. They're like, "You want to make a Cyberfrog one?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. How do I do it?" And so I got a little tip off about how to make a Cyberfrog cardboard standee that'll hold all your Cyberfrog comics.
Is this something that can be folded up in a box and mailed to people?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that'll be huge.
So I'm pretty excited, and it's not, it's like $75. That's how much you charge.
Oh,
for
you'll
it.
sell at least 1,500 of those.
I mean, I'm excited about stuff. I still love what we're doing every single day. Like, I get excited about the possibilities. That.
Oh yeah, about what we're doing. The sky's the limit. Literally, it's Ray Kroc territory.
Can we bring other people along? What are we doing? Are we selling off like franchises, or do we not do that?
No. I mean, basically, we created a model, and we saw Sweetcast do it. We saw Kyle Ritter do it. And then there's OGs like John Malin and Mike Miller, and they're doing it. It's basically a model. Build up a an audience, become a part of their day, their commute, their whatever, their shave, whatever, and you just saw it with me and you listen to Just Some Guy. Just Some Guy comes on, we start getting, oh, it's Just Some Guy.
We're excited to hear from him. I know.
It's like some guy. I listen to him when I'm driving all the time. I love his stuff.
And he's like, what, guys? What? I'm like, dude, I can't explain to you.
Yeah, he's
celebrity.
Like, this is the only voice I have. I don't really know what I'm doing right now. No, dude, like Just Some Guy. Like you're a part of my life. Like, and dude, I'll be exhausted. It'll be like 2 a.m. It's like new video from Just Some Guy. It's like, well, I'm not going to sleep. Shit.
Yeah. Well, I think what I think my role in this is to just keep kind of promoting. Well, I'm doing my own stuff, obviously, but I can't do it by myself. If I just do this by myself, and I could do this just by myself and just kind of cut everyone off, then that's great. I mean, I will succeed, I will flourish, but I don't think it's going to build. It's going to make it possible for other people to do the same thing. So I kind of feel like my mission in life right now is to kind of find the best Indiegogo campaigns by the best creators and just bring them all out and try to get them funded, because it's not easy to get funded.
You should put up Kyle Ritter's.
I got to have Kyle Ritter on the show. Hold on a second. Let me get Starblades up. Kyle, I don't know what to do with Kyle. How does Kyle come on the show?
So, I mean, that's just an issue. And for people who know, we're not trying to be like super dramatic, but Kyle is deaf and mute. So obviously he can't just be on a live stream and talk. Yeah, it's going to be, he can type, but it's not really the same effect. So the best thing in that situation is for, me and you and other people to bring it up. His is absolutely amazing. It's, I believe, his first one. Is it his first one?
Oh, without question. Yeah, this is his first campaign. Kyle Ritter.
$55,000.
Look, $55,195 with 41 days to go. I think this is a 6-figure campaign. I think that's safe to say.
It definitely deserves to be.
It deserves to be a 7-figure campaign. Now, Kyle is somebody who I absolutely love. I cherish this fellow. He has been following me since 2012.
Really?
Yeah. Kyle was just that guy who he was like Nasser, but not annoying. Like, he was helpful. He was very, very persistent. Like, he would send me messages, emails, say, I love your stuff, and at first you're just like, oh, thanks. But then it becomes clear that, this guy, he wants to be involved. And he'd say, look, I colored some of your work. I found some black and whites and I'd color them. And of course, that's kind of interesting. That's a good way to get someone's attention. So you want to see your own work colored by someone else all the time, especially when it's for free. So he would show me all these samples that he had done over my work. And at first they were okay. But over time, like within a year, they got really, really good. And then I started to pay him to color commissions so that I could make prints. And so me and Kyle collaborated a lot early on, like 2014 or so, where Kyle would color. Yeah, he would color a lot of my, if I drew Batman and I thought that I could sell it as a print, Kyle would color it. I'd make prints. I'd go to conventions. So Kyle was always there, and he's always like, I love your Green Lantern. He's like, I want to color you on Green Lantern so bad. My goal is to do Green Lantern. And we never got there. I mentioned Kyle a bunch of times to DC, but it's hard to get in at DC. It's really, really hard. And so in any case, when I said that I was going to do Cyberfrog, initially, I don't know why I did this, but my first instinct was to get Moose Bauman involved. Moose and I had started talking again.
Well, you guys worked at DC together, right?
Yeah. I think, Moose colored Sinestro Corps War and Green Lantern Rebirth, which I still consider to be my best works. And so I think we had something kind of special going there. And he got blacklisted.
He did Rebirth?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not Flash, Green Lantern. The original Green Lantern Rebirth series.
I don't remember them looking different. I just assumed the same person did both of them.
No, I think Brian Miller and Alex, what's his name from Jim Lee's colorist? Sinclair, yeah. Alex Sinclair colored the first issue. I thought he didn't do a good job over me. It just didn't look good. So I got Brian Miller in instead to color the rest. And Brian Miller did a good job. But there's something about Moose. There's a certain kind of colorist I like who can really create mood. And Moose can do it. And by the way, Kyle does it better than Moose. But who knew that then? So I had Moose invited to do Cyberfrog. And Moose was blacklisted from DC. He's blacklisted from the industry because of his attitude. So his attitude is something else, and he's always late. So gave Moose 2 pieces to do. He did one of them poorly, and then I made him redo it. That pissed him off. He did a good job on the second go around, and I gave him the Salamandroid piece, and he just sat on it for like 2 weeks and didn't turn it in. And so I was going, oh, this isn't going to work out. I'm going to have to get a different colorist. So I said, Kyle, why don't you, I want to hire you. Kyle reached out to me and said, I see your Cyberfrog stuff. I want to color it. I said, I'm going to hire you to shadow Moose. So Moose will do the covers, the pinups, he'll do splash pages, but the boring kind of storytelling pages, I'll have you do just to make sure we can get this on time. Moose found out that I'd hired Kyle and flipped his goddamn lid. By the way, Kyle took that Salamandroid piece that I'd given to Moose and turned it around in a day. And it's the piece that is now the cover to the second campaign. And it's fantastic.
I remember these days, and I remember you leaning very heavily to Moose, but I was just like, dude, the second one is just better.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he used like the background color that was also a character color. I was like, what the?
It was, dude, his first stab at all of these. They're always terrible. They're always lazy, and you have to beat them. And you have to go, this is not what you're capable. You can do more. Go back and fix this and make it look like Moose. And he'd grumble and everything. And I always overpaid him. Like I paid him way too much money, to do this stuff. And he still wasn't very appreciative of it. But when he found out that Kyle Ritter was shadowing him, and that it also hired Kyle Ritter, he threw a temper tantrum. The likes of which I've never seen. And absolutely, he became one of my worst enemies overnight. And he'd say, why? And I'd say, Moose, it's my artwork. I don't understand what you're mad about. I can hire 28 colorists to work on this if I want to. You're not entitled to this. I'm not Marvel and DC. I'm a guy who's producing my own work. If I want 28 people to color the same page so that I can pick from the 28 people, that's my business. You were getting paid anyway. I'm paying you. So why are you angry? Blew up. Big problem with Moose Bauman, and Moose Bauman has become again, EDS, Ethan Derangement Syndrome, on Twitter. But Kyle Ritter, in the meantime, stepped up and just was so good and filled in. And Kyle told me how much he wanted to be paid, and it was like I ended up paying him more than twice what he asked for as a page rate, and then gave him a big bonus, which I think is a good model for crowdfunders that do well. For Kyle to come in here and color Cyberfrog, he's always on time. He always did excellent work, always cheerful. He gets a page and goes, this is beautiful. I can't wait to color this. Like that's a great, that's professional. This is beautiful. I can't wait to color this. And then he turns it in and you look at it and you go, this is great, but could you do this and this? And he goes, sure, I'll get it right back to you.
I gotta tell you that enthusiasm thing, and I gotta get better on this, because I remember you told me, you're like, do you compliment these people? I go, no, I paid them. You're like, what the hell? But I have a couple of pencilers I work with, and they're so easygoing and they're so positive. Like it's just like I light up every time I get an email. My second time in Iraq, I was actually with a headquarters unit, and I actually had a trailer. I never had that before or since, but since it was headquarters, I had a trailer. And my roommate was this guy in the band, and that might sound kind of lame, but they flew the band to like every single tiny cop or fob out there. So he was always getting lit up in helicopters like every 3 days. And he had this thing. He was like a really cool guy. He was like the saxophone player. Every time he would open a door, he would, like in the cheerfulest voice ever, he would say, "What up, pimp?" And I like a dog waiting for its master. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how they hear your car and like the nose is in the window? Like I would hear him unlocking the door. He's like, he's going to say, "What up, pimp?" And like, I always felt great after that.
I mean, that stuff just helps. It just makes the atmosphere more fun. And Kyle has never been a problem ever. He always gets his work in on time. He's always cheerful and happy. He does a great job, and he's gotten better and better. Now, what I didn't know, because Kyle never told me this. Okay, Kyle never said, "Hey, look at my pencils," up until Cyberfrog started, and then Kyle did 2 pinups for Cyberfrog that were like, "Hey, these are pretty good." Like, people were sending me fan art. Kyle did these 2 pinups that I have to admit were like really great. I ended up buying them off of him, and those 2 pinups are in Blood Honey. But I didn't know Kyle could draw. Kyle can draw. Of course he can. Anybody who colors like this can draw. And why he was hiding this, I will never know. This is some of the best artwork that I have seen in a long time.
Jeez, I haven't even seen that one.
This stands shoulder to shoulder with Jason Fabok at DC Comics.
One of the things that kills me is like, he should get like halfway through Starblades, and then DC's like, "We want you on Justice League," Like,
yeah.
Aaron Alfici should have been stolen, and he should be drawing X-Men right now.
Well, heads up, one of your artists is getting stolen by DC. Do you know that?
I will give him a thumbs up and probably send him a little bonus on the way.
Yeah, he let me know that.
If that happens, I will be so happy for him, her, or Zier.
He goes, it's a he. He goes, "What should I tell DC? Should I tell DC I'm Comicsgate?" Not unless they ask. It's none of their business. It's like, you're a professional. So.
No, I mean, that's not. You and I have differences on what that means. To me, it's like saying, it's like having a T-shirt that says customer service. Like, you know what I mean?
Much, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't consider it a group. I consider it just like good customer service. So it's like, no, you don't have to tell them. Again, like stop letting these weirdos on Twitter make you think this is East Germany during, the Cold War.
Wow.
You don't have to tell any. You just turn your pages in.
100%.
I'm so interested in this, and I'm legitimately excited and happy. Can you tell me, or can you tell them to tell me?
I'll tell you in private.
Well, tell them to tell me. That'll be even better.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, he's probably listening now, so you go ahead, tell Zach.
And just say I am extremely happy.
It's not your main guy, so don't worry about that.
I think I know who it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is beautiful work. Absolutely beautiful work. Of course, Kyle will get headhunted eventually, and he will end up working at Marvel or DC if he chooses to, because
but
it's inevitable.
It might not, because there's going to be half as many books in 2 years.
Well, this is the other thing. There's no longer really any incentive to work for Marvel or DC, because
me and you are paying bonuses.
You're not getting royalties anymore. You're not making the money that you used to make. I mean, if your goal is, hey, wow, this is gorgeous, Jesus God. If your goal is, hey, I really just want to draw Spider-Man, I understand that. That makes sense. But honestly, somebody like Kyle Ritter is better off just staying right where he is and doing this. And look, he's got 41 in 20 days. He's made $55,195. This comic book shouldn't cost that much to fulfill. 908 backers. Let's say he's got to produce at the end of this 2,000, maybe 3,000 copies, depending on how much this blows up. This is a big, fat, healthy paycheck for Kyle Ritter if he does this right. After taxes, after fulfillment, this is a big, fat, healthy paycheck. But you know what else? He owns it. He owns these characters. This is a future. This is a future that could actually provide for a family when you own your own characters.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you guys, I should put the link in. Hold on a second.
The other thing that's exciting, and you were kind of getting on me for this, you're like, why do you want to work on these other things? They're not yours. I'm like, well, I haven't done it. And now I'm doing like the secret project thing, and I'm excited about it. But also, if it doesn't happen, I'd kind of be fine, because the whole negotiation phase drives me insane. Like, I want to start writing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't want to negotiate for X amount of months with no actual end date.
Hold on a second. I'm putting Starblades in the description, guys. We should get this up to 60,000 today. I mean, people see this and immediately realize they want it.
Well, he's got that really long middle, which I don't know if it's the greatest idea.
What does that mean?
The middle of a campaign is always dead.
Oh, yeah.
When you double the length of the campaign, all you do is extend the middle of it.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it really depends on how hard you work it, because Doug TenNapel did pretty well all through. Like Doug drip dropped like $3,000 a day during the worst part of his campaign. So that's pretty impressive. You really do just have to get around and promote as much as you possibly can on different places. I mean, you're doing it. You were on Ricada, right? I mean,
yeah, Ricada was a good deal.
But you're in demand now. I think you're going to get to in a month. You'll be at. I think in 1 month you'll be at 300,000. Hold on, let me show people your campaign now.
Well, when we show the your cover, that's going to be a giant spike.
Do you know what I'm doing yet? Do you have your idea for what you want?
I got all the panels, and I basically want to give you like a couple panels from the scene and the concept. But things keep popping up, so I'm trying to do that today.
Yeah, just give me. I mean, Zach, honestly, if you want to even just do a stick figure, just do a stick figure drawing like you did before, and I'll interpret it. Just tell me what you want me to do. I don't like to do I don't like to do stuff like this. This looks great, but like saying, hey, just do a movie poster. I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
no, it's not. It's nothing like that. It's like a crucial moment from the script, but also not giving away that crucial moment. So I'm trying to figure that one out.
Okay, Margaret Miracle's telling me to read super chats. That is what I will do for a second, and then we'll get back to this. Hey, Zach, thanks for being in here. I appreciate you.
I actually have to go, but thanks for inviting me in.
God, why did I say that? I just jinxed it.
No, if you look at the chat,
What are they saying?
No, do you see the private chat?
On Facebook?
I was already typing it. I was
I'm
already
not
typing.
sharing.
I actually have to go now, so you didn't jinx
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. Yeah. You run and go.
All
Thanks
right.
for being here,
Thanks
buddy.
a lot. Bye.
All right. So let me read these super chats. Let's see. Okay. Where did I leave off here? An important note after Epstein's death, no one had the challenging. Okay. Read that one. A lot of Epstein stuff. People are really pissed off about this. Epstein was already on suicide watch. I think the other elites killed him, like the Clintons, in case he talked, says Amateur Ant. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people suspect that. James Dean Anderson said Epstein got force choked, like in the Star Wars franchise. Charlie's London says Epstein saga, like storyline from Law and Order SVU. Xantax just joined the channel. Thank you very much. Dallas Deadeye says Ritter's Starblades makes Liefeld's Brigade look like Peppa the Pig. Dude, exactly. I wish we could show that again. Do I have it? Yeah, okay. Let's just, by the way, this is probably mean. Should I do this? I'm going to do it. Just to show you how great Kyle Ritter is. Rob Liefeld's, oh, where'd that go? Oh, this is my music. All right. Okay, Rob Liefeld. All the way up here. Okay. Rob Liefeld's Brigade versus Starblades. There's just no comparison. There's just absolutely no comparison. Hi, Kitty. So, I mean, obviously, this is amazing. This is fantastic work. This guy deserves to be a total pro. And he is a total pro, but he deserves money, I think. I think he deserves money and support. And he deserves a chance to, show people what he can actually do in terms of his own comic. So thank you, guys. I see it's getting backed. It's getting some new backers. I definitely appreciate you guys. Feels a lot of Spice Girls on that list. Let me look. Hold on. What's here? Fallout Boy, Charlie XCX. This is where Beyond the Season, Garth Brooks. Oh, yeah. This was the stuff I downloaded at Christmas. I looked up, by the way, when I was doing the Bro White video, this was earlier in the year, I wanted a song called I Got Bitches. And so I knew there had to be like 11 songs called I Got Bitches. So I just looked in, I looked on iTunes for I Got Bitches. I found 3 songs called I Got Bitches, and they're all different. I ended up going with this one from Dice, his album Drug Abuse. I Got Bitches was probably the best fit for Bro White. I was listening to them again. This one right here, Just Read Up, YG, I Got Bitches. This one isn't that good. This one down here, ATM. This one is way too vulgar about having bitches, but this one is just the right tune. It just means I've got a lot of women and they're all weird and different. Let me see what else is here. London Suede, Jason Derulo, Michael Jackson. Let's see, Elvis Presley, the 1975 great underrated band, Charlie XCX, and Nicki Minaj's new album, which I thought I'd give a try to. I haven't even finished listening to it yet. So, all right. In any case, a trip through my iTunes. All right, let's get back to super chats. So E says so many high ups involved told him to do it or else. I think you're probably right. Phil RZ28 says you got DM copy of report. JE arrived alive at hospital. Okay. David L says I believe the Fat Ethan theory. Old King Log. Yeah, I think that's the name of the group. Real Winslet fan says your taste in music is bad, Ethan, but your art is sublime. I don't know. I like all kinds of music, so I don't think my taste in music is bad. I like everything. Micah D2 says David Hogg. Donut Swan says memes are murder. Chop off his hands. Jonathan Van Hertem says if Mark Waid only wrote his comics as excitingly as his fictional Twitter post, he might actually sell some product again. Tim Riggs says that chick looks like a dude wearing a wig and a really bad Botox lip job. Rich M says, I love how Mark is trying to do it for his collaborators. He always does that. Like he's so unselfish. He's just trying to protect the weak are protected by the strong. The strong protect the weak. Mark is strong and every one of his collaborators is weak and they need Mark to protect them. Individualist, my favorite name on Individualist is so smart. Melanin is not a race. Blood type is a race. Okay.
Charlie's London says, can fix it now be a members emoji? We love the idea. Yeah, I think so. You know, let's see. Tim Riggs says, anyone wanting to troll Mark Waid should change their Twitter profile to say they are a disabled lesbian African-American. Have some fun with him. Downshift says, I'd buy that comic if the fake comic was real. Stripper named Trixie says, courtesy of Scott Kurtz, lick that thumbs up. Hey, thanks, Trixie. Let's see. Eric Weather says, from the letter of Jawbreakers comes Flying Fortress, WW2 time travel adventure on Indiegogo. At $30,000, we unlock a trading card by Aaron Alfecci. Hewitt Gack says, your boy, don't you get it? Tanks are okay if fake. $5 message retracted. Mark C says, Mark Waid seems to not get that he wants to assault people that have all the guns. That is obviously going to be a problem. Mike Jenkins says, just some guy up in the chat, bring him on. Great Loner says, EVS sent you an email about my Vampy order. All right, I'll look at that. Uzi Patrol says, LOL, your Mark Waid sounds like Kevin Meaney. People Circus says, Waid is so fat the world revolves around him. Sean Davis says, fix this now. Everyone back Pillow Man and Blanket Boy. That's an Indiegogo campaign by Sean Davis. It's called Pillow Man and Blanket Boy. Peter Armstrong says, Andrea should make a video of the strange voices and noises that come from the basement. Kenny Jones, thanks for $10. Hey, Ethan, heard the whole live stream last night. Are we still getting that Mark Waid email shirt? That was an interesting idea. People wanted a picture of the email on the t-shirt. I don't know. Is it? It's pretty funny, but I don't know. Andrew Huerta says, big ups to Ethan, Zach, and Just Some Guy. Hashtag fix this. Unbuggable says, when are you guys getting Just Some Guy on here? I would love his take on this and the interplay between you fellas. Yeah, we're big fans of Just Some Guy. He came on. He had some internet connection problems, so he decided not to come back. Amateur Ant says, yeah, Uncle E takes walks to get the pies. Boom Daddy says, back Blood Honey and God King. You guys totally entertain me. Why is my emojis not working? I don't know. Andrew Huerta says, Ethan started diet weight loss channel. That'd be interesting as well. I could make videos about, losing weight. That would actually propel me to continue, but I don't know if people would want to watch that. Well, I'd have a whole other audience. That would maybe want to watch that. Gunnar Renee Oy, I wish I could pronounce your name. Says taking walks and exercise has benefits of its own. E says this is going to be great for the court to see. Unbuggable, thanks for $2. Dragon Lord says Just Some Guy's Mark Precious Waid voice is great. Matt Horkin, read that one. Let's see, read that one. Charlie Barrett, thanks for joining the channel. Mike Oxmall says they really trying to trick people with their names. Yeah, they do that all the time. Trencher 1375 says, well, 1 out of 2 is not that bad. Sean Campbell says, how do we know you aren't actually Mark Waid alts? You'll never know. Boy Dunyen says, who doesn't like Minions? Bananas every day. Boy Dunyen, again, is a new member. Thank you for joining. Boy Dunyen. Rhino, I was seeing if that's a joke. I can't find it. Rhino, thanks for $2. Make sure you send that mongrel quote to lawyers. Mike Jenkins says, that's because Doyle is an expert in doglang. Dorby says, how much of this BS is exactly what Waid said on his call to Antarctic Press? If Dunn is listening now, he's having flashbacks. Yeah, probably. Dave says, EVS, where can I buy all of the Cyberfrog comics? Well, right now, there is Cyberfrog Blood Honey is still available on Indiegogo. And there the new Vampirella comic. The link is in the description. It's a Vampirella Cyberfrog crossover cover. So you can pick that one up, and I definitely appreciate your support. Brian Urso, thanks for $22, says, fix this, Ethan. Fix this now. Wonder if baby Huey Waid is going to actually apologize to Just Some Guy. You would think he learned the first time he defamed someone. Idiot. Gideon's Mob, new album on iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. Phobos Media says, hi, EVS. I make space UFO documentaries. Ashamed to ask for a shout out, but my views died a week ago. Worried. This is Spectre of Comics main channel. That's weird. Phobos Media, everyone. Subscribe to Phobos Media and watch his UFO and space documentaries. Brian Urso says, the only thing better than Cyberfrog Standee, which I will buy, by the way, is the debut Gideon's Mob album, out now on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Google Play, CD Baby, and Bandcamp. Thanks and God bless. And fix this now, Ethan. Yeah. Fried Cosmic Chicken says, I painted hundreds of Warhammer models listening to you. That's cool. I like that people kind of do other things while the show's on. I dig that. Brian Urso says, they have services.
have a deaf pal that call you and you talk to someone speaking for the deaf person, and the person speaking for the deaf person types to that deaf person what you say. Maybe we could do that for Kyle. That's a good idea. Jeremy W. says, Zach's first Captain America review and the end of the court case will bookend the Comicsgate saga. Eddie Winkler says, you guys are awesome and have paved the way for the rest of us. By the way, where can I find a reliable artist? I found that money isn't the great motivator I thought it once was. Yeah, it's hard to say. There are a lot of artists around Comicsgate. A lot of them, they reach out to me all the time. I should really make a list. If you reach out to me, you're an artist, and people are trying to work with me, I might not be able to give you work, but there are definitely other people who will. Brian Urso said, no Gideon's Mob in your music collection? Man of Sex says, hopefully, that was just a piece of my music collection. My music collection is huge. Man of Sex says, hopefully they don't reverse this Bro versus Wade. Brian Norman says, if you could guess, about what month and year will Rainbow Brute come out? Or when would you like it to be out? Also, when does the logo start? Let me see. When would Rainbow Brute be out? I'd like to put the campaign out probably in September at this point. The minute people start receiving all of their Cyberfrog Blood Honey books is when I want to run the campaign. I can't run another big campaign until the books are fulfilled. So it's kind of that's a big problem. When would I like it to be out? I'd like it to be out December or January, I guess. But I'm not gonna. When I actually put together the campaign, I'm gonna say something like, estimated date, the year 2300. I don't want to give people, something too optimistic so that my enemies can kind of beat me around the head and shoulders with it again. Agha says, I love the content. Thank you for $20, by the way. I did a Rainbow Brute metal cover of the Rainbow Bright and Me song. It's on my channel. Hope some peeps enjoy it. So that's Agha, Aghah. Go to their channel and listen to the Rainbow the Brute metal cover of Rainbow Bright. Boy Dunyen says it's pronounced Boyu Nuyen or Boizu. Oh, okay. Thank you for joining the channel. I appreciate it. And Man of Sex says your lack of Hall & Oates is disturbing. I don't think I have any Hall & Oates. Do you want to look at my music collection? Hold on a second. Let's see what's in there. Sean Crummell says, afternoon, Ethan. Listening and working on the next review of Pit 1 and 2 on my channel, Random Back Issue Comics. Have a great day. Hey, thanks. My music collection is, hold on, artists. No, maybe albums would be a better way to look at everything here. My music collection, oftentimes I'll just buy stuff because it's silly and I want to learn how to play it on the piano. I want to do piano covers of things. So hold on, I will share this real quick, and then I gotta get to work. But I totally love you guys. Thank you for all your support. Thank you guys for where's the thing here? Thank you guys for supporting the Vampirella cover, Vampirella #1. This comic has sold 130,000 copies at this point. Where is it? Right here. And it's great. What we're doing is we're going to be doing just a red foil logo. Ours is going to be special. The cover will be a higher quality of paper. And then this Vampirella, see this? Just the lettering will be red foil, or it'll be silver foil, or it'll be gold foil. We're going to do all different versions so you can choose the one that you want, or you can choose all of them. I mean, you could get one of each of them for, I think if you buy the one of each of them, you get the black and white with no logo for free. So if you buy 3, you get the black and white one for free. I think that's the way we kind of set up the pricing there. But it's doing pretty good. $15,520 for the first, what are we, 20 hours into this? That's not so bad at all. Joe Swaim says, EVS has a Nord behind him. He's a man of discernment, a trusted member of the music Illuminati. Thank you. My wife bought that for me when she was broke. She put it on her credit card, and we were just dating. She bought that for me as a Christmas present. And it's one of the few times when a man like myself feels like crying. That was a beautiful, she's like, I can pay for it. I can work it off. Oh, my God. Oh, my Andrea. What a girl. What a woman she is. All right. Here's my music collection. So you can see the wide and varied variety of what goes on here. Obviously, it's in alphabetical order. Here's A to M with I Got Bitches. So unfortunately, that's the first thing. And it goes everything. There's Anthrax. There's the Twin Peaks soundtrack. Amy Winehouse. Something like Knew You Were Waiting. I think I wanted to play that song on the piano, ironically. Some Barry Manilow.
Beach Boys. I have every Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys. Love the Beatles. Have every Beatles. Beautiful South. Love them. Have all that. Have a couple of Bee Gees, and I like the Bee Gees more than I act like I do, because I've only bought 2 of their iTunes, but I do like them a lot. Brian Wilson. I have all the Brian Wilson stuff. Charlie XCX. I absolutely love. I buy everything Charlie XCX does. I think she's a real pop wizard. I think she's really smart. Her music is kind of dark and fun. Let me see. Scrolling on. Cobra Starship was great. I used to love The Cure, but I can't listen to them anymore. I can't listen to The Cure the way I did in high school. The Darkness. I have everything by The Darkness. When I was getting into a fight with Darren Hayes, who was the lead singer of, what's that group? Savage Garden. I bought a couple. Looks like I bought 3 of his albums to listen to what he's like. I'm still making music. I'm making solo music. So I went and I bought 3 of his albums to hear what he was doing. Love the Barge. Depeche Mode. I have everything Depeche Mode. It's all typical. A little Doris Day, who I don't listen to her music very much, but I have some of her music here. Doris Day and then Drake. You know what I'm saying? It's like on the same line. Everything Elvis. So I think I have good taste in music. Some Frank Sinatra, Foxy Shazam. What else is here? So far, nothing too embarrassing. Let's see. Or is it? I'm looking at you guys. Depeche Mode rules, otherwise trash. You think this is all garbage? Imogen Heap is great. If you guys haven't heard Imogen Heap, you should check her out. Her music is really good. Iron Maiden, a couple of Iron Maidens here. I used to have everything Iron Maiden, but now I just have, Number of the Beast is indispensable. Power Slave is their best album. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is kind of, it's a little pretentious, but I still kind of like it, Everything's trash. All my music is trash. I have all the Lady Gaga stuff. I was kind of interested in that for a little while. Mace. I love Mace. Yeah. Doris Day and The Time. No Ethel. No, there's 0 Ethel Merman. Your boy Zach made that up. Yeah. No Rush. I don't have any Rush. Agha says Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is good too. Peace of Mind is good too. Love Nirvana. Love 9 Inch Nails. I went through a thing where I thought Nicki Minaj was going to be good. I thought Nicki Minaj was going to be kind of this, pretty impressive rapper, but she turned bubblegum and went on TV, and I just don't like her. I don't like her, so I can't listen to her stuff anymore. Of course, here's Chatelet, Pepe. We have the instrumental version and the vocal version. Got to do that. Prince, a little Prince. Porno music. If you want to hear porno music, this is the 70s background porno music. What else is here? We're scrolling through all my music real quick. Sade, I love Sade. Sade is relaxing music. If I want to drink some wine and just chill out, if I'm really upset or I'm anxious, Sade is just, I don't know what to say. I went to see her in concert. She just was very fucking impressive. I really, really like Sade. Let's see, Sean Cassidy, so I could listen to his version of Do Ron Ron while I draw Salamandroid. That's Salamandroid's real name. Sia, I love. Zach also loves Sia. I went to see her live with Andrea. We went to Sia. We went to Sia, and she was great. I'll buy anything she puts out. She's another. I mean, there's some pop artists that are just brilliant artists, and she's one of them. What else is here? Sinead O'Connor, I kind of like. Sky Ferreira, I thought I was gonna like, but she kind of went off the rails. Steel Panther, anything Steel Panther puts out, I buy. Where's Fabio? Fabio would be in the collections. Like he'd be in various artists, but he's in here too. The Fabio album. Tech Nine. I like rap. I like some rap. Every now and then I'm in the mood to listen to modern rap, but mostly I just like old hip hop. Tupac is great. Biggie. Bad Boys 10th anniversary. You realize how horrible most of what Puff Daddy did was. Flint Flossie, genius. All right, so this is various artists here. Let me see here. Vic Damone. In case I want to put on She's My Cherry Pie. There it is right there. I wanted to play that on the piano, but I couldn't get a good version of that. Wilson Phillips. I Know There's Pain. Oh my God, how awesome. And a lot of this, I have to say, some of this rap, like Young Thug, and Yo Gotti or whatever this is. This is stuff that Hunter was on my cloud. So he would sit there and download all this like garbage, and it would end up on my iTunes. You know, I never bothered deleting it. Doo-wop, wow, doo-wop, Great American Songbook. I love pop music, so I kind of, I will buy all of these, and some of them are good. And Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, the greatest thing ever made, probably the greatest movie ever made. Fantastic. Songs in the Key of Z, some of the worst music ever made. And yeah. So, if you look at my music collection, the only like gay soundtrack like stuff that Zach makes fun of me for would be Doris Day. Here's the Pajama Game, original soundtrack. And I can't even remember why I bought that. I think I was just buying Doris Day stuff. And so I added that. I got the Magic Mike Double XL soundtrack so I could learn how to play Pony. Let's do it, my pony. And I learned to play that really well on the piano. I don't know. That's it. A lot of Van Halen. Best of Vanilla Ice. Angry Birds soundtrack is pretty gay. No, it isn't, because here's why it's not gay. Hold on a second. The reason why I bought that, I never would have noticed it, except it has Charlie XCX. It has a Charlie XCX song. And I buy anything Charlie XCX. And I think you weren't allowed to buy this separately. You had to buy the whole album to get this song. So, and this song, Explode, became a song that I used to make a little infant Ava dance to. I would kind of shake Ava around, like not shake like a shaken infant, not like that. But I would make Ava dance to this song, Explode. And it's, it's kind of a family thing. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's my music. And you guys, if you don't like it, I mean, you guys can just, I guess you can make fun of me if you want. Emil Monet says, it's okay, EBS, we're going to fix you. Burn Piano Island Burn. Let's say now Ava prefers Baby Shark. Yeah, that's true. But you know what was interesting? Now that she's 3, like I used to make her dance to those songs when she was an infant. Now that she's 3, and that song I would do it every day, I put that song on and she remembered it. Like she kind of went and was happy. She was happy to hear that song again. Matt Savalar says, dude, are you still buying music? Yeah, I am. And I'm glad, because when I didn't have any internet, for the past 3 weeks, I just went through, mostly what I did was I just listened to my iTunes catalog. Queen, I only have one. I have the best of Queen. I don't have anything else. Yeah, I love Charlie XCX. She's kind of my type too. I mean, she looks, Andrea would kill me for saying this, but she looks a little like Andrea, and vice versa. I have no Alice in Chains. And Old King Log says, your taste in music is like Zach's taste in movies. I don't know how you can say that. There's everything in there. It's like, and no Led Zeppelin. I kind of grew out of Led Zeppelin when I was 13. I don't listen to Led Zeppelin anymore. Where's the punk? I have Sex Pistols in there. That's about it for punk. I like Sex Pistols. 07 is good. I agree. They're really, really good. That's, again, that's Sia. That's where Sia came from. I have one In Excess. I have Prince. Oh, Prince Originals is great. That is a fun album. I'm glad they put that out. I like his Manic Monday too, his version of that, his original, I guess, demo of that. The guy wrote all the big songs of the 80s. Yeah, I got Black Star by David Bowie, but I didn't like it. No Deep Purple. No, I have Breeders. I'm pretty sure. Or at least I have Cannonball. I might not have the whole album. I do have Offspring. You guys are saying no this, no that. It's in there. I'm sure of it. Hold on a second. We'll double back and look. It's going to be really exciting. We're losing viewers at, 1,000 a second, but, let's look at Offspring. So this is all in alphabetical order. This kid Max is great too. I bought all his stuff. He's kind of like a one man, and I know you guys hate Fall Out Boy, but this kid can sing, and I think he's kind of a protege of Fall Out Boy. But Max is great. Let's see, Offspring. Look, I got Kesha. For a second, I thought Kesha was going to be good. I make a mistake sometimes, and I think somebody is different than they actually end up being.
Some Michael Jackson, Nelly. Where's Offspring? Surely I have Offspring. Oh, I might have lied. I don't see Offspring here at all. Oh wait, no, there it is, right here. Offspring's greatest hits. All you really need is Offspring. Checkpoint says ABBA is at the top. Yeah. Up here, all the way at the top, you could buy the entire ABBA collection. This is every ABBA album, and iTunes had it on sale. I went, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take one of those. I listened to, and it actually is, I think there's a concert in here, and I actually just listened to the ABBA concert section of this. It was actually pretty good. ABBA's weird. Like, I mean, I acknowledge they're like a great pop band and one of the best pop bands of their time. But you know, I can't really listen to them that much. You know, just every now and then. So here was me checking out I Got Bitches. You guys feel free to, you know, if you can find other songs called I Got Bitches, let me know. I like I Got Bitches. Oh, this group here, the 1975, really good. I buy everything they put out too. They're excellent. They're a lot of fun. I bought the new Weezer album that they cover other bands. British people will look at Westlife and be like, "What's your problem?" Westlife did a cover of Uptown Girl that is inspiring the whole Heather Swain saga of Cyberfrog. I listen to that and I think about Heather Swain. I don't know why. I actually learned to like Uptown Girl when I learned that Billy Joel had written it for Frankie Valli, and Frankie Valli never like performed it, and until later. He performed it later on in his life, you know, at a Billy Joel tribute concert. But it sounds like a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons song, and that makes me like it a whole lot more. You know, yeah, people like the idea of songs called "I Got Bitches." I do too. And you know, again, I will make videos sometimes and I'll go, I need a song called I Got Bitches. And then I'll just type it into the search engine. I needed a song called Rip It Up. And I figured there were probably tons of songs called Rip It Up. And the reason why I wanted Rip It Up was so that, you know, I could, can I get these in order as songs? So that I could play it over video of your boy Zach ripping up comics. Look, I got, look at all these Rip It Up songs. I bought them all. I bought all the songs called Rip It Up. So that when your boy Zach was ripping up comics, I just edited a clip together of him just tearing up shit. And I put this Rip It Up rap song over it. You know, it was good. Where is Wham? I do have Wham. I'm ashamed to say. I like George Michael. I did like George Michael. Where's Wham? I got this one Whitney Houston song, Where Do Broken Hearts Go? Because I wanted to play it to make fun of someone. It's like, I want to learn how to play Where Do Broken Hearts Go? So, you know, when somebody loses, you can play that song. Wham, Make It Big. There you go. That's my one Wham album. Yeah. All right, everyone. Love you all. I don't know. I'm going to go. My voice is starting to hurt, but I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate all the love. And look how intimate we are. We go through my iTunes collection. We went through my entire iTunes collection. And, you know, that's about as intimate as you get. I don't even think Andrea has done that. But thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you again later. I might come back tonight. Please do back Vampirella #1, the red foil variant. That's my new offering. And you can find the link in the description. Back Jawbreakers, back Starblades. Back these campaigns if you haven't yet. We appreciate your support. Let's get these, you know, these comics going. I try not to do this whole thing. You know, sometimes comic skaters will say, monetize these bitches. In a way, like sometimes I say that, but I actually try to produce pretty good product. So I don't want you to buy Vampirella just to own the libs. That's silly. I want you to buy my cover because it's awesome and because it's going to be worth millions of dollars one day. Well, maybe not millions, but like tens. Be worth tens of dollars one day. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. And I will see you again probably tonight. Bye.